everyone, welcome to your 2024 prediction. So I just want to explain the setup for this reading. So we're going to start off with your major themes for the year. Then we'll get sort of a general overview, kind of how we typically do our readings on this channel. But then after that, we're going to see your high versus your low for the year, your top 3 major events, how your future self would basically describe or sum up the year, so the overall vibe as told by your future self. And then we'll get advice from your guides on how to have the best year in 2024. And then originally I was gonna do career messages, but I just uploaded a next chapter in your career video, so I'll put that in the description box if you want specific career messages. And then we'll also get some wild card messages at the end of your reading with the tea leaf fortune cards. You may have seen these before on the channel. There are these little like circular cards. There's a lot more than just these. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to upload 2 separate 2024 predictions for love. So that'll be just a whole separate video. I'm gonna do one reading that's just for singles and then another reading for people who are already in established relationships. I know last year I did that really big, almost like 7-hour reading that covered like every possible, like romantic situation. Me being pregnant right now, I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. But I will do 2 separate videos. So if you see a love prediction come out just for singles or just for couples and you're like, oh man, like where's the video for me? Don't worry. They probably will upload on different days. I don't know which one will upload first, but just know that they will be back to back. So, let's say I upload the singles one first, then the next day, you know that the couples one will upload. And all my videos I'm uploading at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time now. So, just be on the lookout for that, or just turn your notification bell on and that makes things simple. And let's see. Oh, if you see a lot of jump cuts in your reading, I'm still drinking like my breakfast smoothie, and when I watch readings and stuff, I don't like to hear people drink, and so I try to do my very best to cut that out. So if you see jump cuts, it's just because I'm sipping on my coffee or my smoothie. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's go ahead and get into your reading group 1. We're starting off with your major themes for the year 2024, and we'll give this a really nice shuffle. And a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating all of the messages that we're going to hear today. Group 1, 3 major themes of 2024 for my group 1s. Just want one more card. There we go. People are doing yard work outside, so I'm actually having to film this on a totally different day. But anyway, your major themes of the year for 2024 are going to be imagination, inspiration, and sensuality. Right away, I love how even the major themes of your life in 2024 are all working really well together. So it's not like each is a distinct theme. It's sort of giving us an entire picture here because all of these are interrelated. And so what this tells me is that your creative energy, your capacity for creativity is at its best, like at its peak in 2024. So if you're an artist, or if you have always wanted to pursue something artistic, something creative, or if you've ever wanted to start something such as your own business, or you've wanted to grow or expand your business or pick up a new hobby, anything that involves creatively expressing yourself, changing up your style, your aesthetic, redecorating your home, anything related to creativity, including falling in love, including falling in love. For those of you who are single, or those of you who are already in a romantic relationship, or where you just really want to focus on your love life next year, I see your love life being very positive in 2024. Although, like I said before, there will be separate love readings being uploaded to the channel. So if you want more details on that, go look there. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I will say your love life is looking very favorable. No matter what your current romantic situation is, it's looking very favorable in the year of 2024. Yeah, but definitely for my business owners, or for my people who want to start their own business, who want to, like I said, change up their style, their aesthetic, all of that stuff is highly favored in 2024. Any sort of artistic, creative pursuit, highly favored for you in 2024. There's just such an energy here of creativity, of you feeling inspired. And I really feel like this is the year where you fall in love with your life, where you feel like you can romanticize your life in a healthy, in a positive way. For those of you who are interested in traveling or relocating or buying a new home, that is also going to be highly favored in 2024 for you. So if you were wondering if that was going to be possible, it definitely will in 2024, because I see you being inspired by new places, new people, new environments. And so I definitely feel like this is also a year where you're going to be feeling more sociable as well. You're going to be getting more comfortable with meeting new people if that's something you haven't been comfortable with before. But I see this as you getting out of your shell. And I definitely feel like there's an authenticity to you that maybe has been kind of subdued a bit, because I just feel like there's this energy of almost like rebirth, of feeling like you're coming home to yourself again. And it's not that you weren't being true to yourself before, but I feel like you were just getting so tired, so worn down, and so focused on day-to-day minutia that you just weren't having space and time in your day to creatively express yourself. So it's almost like you're getting to know yourself better. And through that process, you're also getting to know new people who are in better alignment, right? Because you're definitely up leveling. All right, group 1, let's take a look at your general overview for 2024. What is happening in my group 1's life during 2024, please, Spirit? We've got the World card to start us off. Beautiful start. We have the Four of Wands. We have the Lovers. And we have the Ten of Cups. And your bottom of the deck is the Eight of Wands. So this is a lot of fast moving, positive changes in your life. This can be a rocky energy. It's super positive, right? But at the same time, it requires you to adjust to a lot. Adjust to a lot. Because change, even when it's positive, requires something new of us. And so I feel like with the rest of your cards, you're handling this super well. This feels like this is really going to be your year. It feels like if things have been really difficult, really challenging for a while, it's like you're due for some positive changes. And they're coming in really fast and really quickly. And it probably is going to be like a domino effect, like one positive change leads to others in your life. And with the World card here, you're reaching some kind of completion. So you're going to achieve at least one major goal in your life in 2024, especially with the Four of Wands, because this talks about celebration, but it also talks about stability. So I feel like you're going to feel very much at home in your life. So as much change as you're having to adjust to, in 2024, it also feels like you're coming home to yourself. You're coming home to this idea of your life feeling right for you, of you feeling very much on the right track. And with the Lovers, the Four of Wands, and the Ten of Cups, I know this isn't the love reading, and if you want more specific love messages, definitely go check out the love prediction for 2024. However, this could really talk about marriage and engagement, meeting a soulmate, meeting a life partner, starting a family, getting pregnant, buying your forever home, all of that. Ten of Cups is emotional fulfillment. And this could also talk about having success in business as well, in your professional life. You feeling like your work is exactly what you're passionate about, creating something solid for yourself so that you can have a legacy. You can have generational wealth, if that's something that resonates for you. So this is really huge. I do feel like with the Lovers and that Eight of Wands that we saw as your bottom of the deck, you are having to make a lot of big choices, Okay, and now we have Surrender to the Divine, Full Moon. And I love that the full moon is coming across the World card, which is also a complete circle, right? A sense of completion over something. So if you're wanting to find success, if you're wanting to find emotional fulfillment, the moon talks about our emotions as well. Surrender to the divine, follow divine guidance, go with the flow, trust that you're being led. Rejection is always God's protection. If something doesn't feel right to you, it's not meant for you. If something wants to leave your life, let it leave. If an opportunity wants to come into your life and it feels right, let it come in. Surrender to the divine. Be in your feminine energy. Go with the flow. And we have bring love into the situation, new moon in Aquarius. So yeah, I mean, definitely could talk about a new start in your romantic partnership or new love coming into your life. You bringing more love into your life, pouring more love into yourself, taking more time for self-care. You taking time for the things that you love to do, romanticizing your life in a healthy way. Being open to change. Falling in love with the idea that life is unpredictable. But that can be inspiring. It doesn't have to be scary. Change can be exciting. It doesn't have to be scary. And pouring your heart into everything you do. Doing things with love, with intention, with care. And don't let your past hold you back. South Node, you are stepping into your North Node. I would highly recommend looking at your birth chart, seeing where your North Node is, and embodying the characteristics of that sign. And your North Node is always going to be opposite to your South Node. So for example, my South Node is in Gemini, my North Node is in Sagittarius. So if I was trying to step into the energy of my North Node, I should be embodying the characteristics of a Sagittarius over a Gemini. Okay? So I think that would help you a lot. But don't let your past hold you back. Your past does not have to determine or dictate your future. You can break cycles that you are unhappy with. You do have that power. Your bottom of the deck is She Who Changes, Iris, Transformation, Change, and Enchantment. We've already talked about this, but you are going through so many changes in your life in 2024. Not only in your external world, but also internally. You yourself are changing, and I feel like you're coming home to a more authentic version of yourself. And with She Who Surprises, I feel like people around you may feel a bit shocked by the changes that you're making. But I feel like ultimately those who are meant to continue on the journey with you will be supportive. And we have She Who Guides, New Path, Guide, and Renewal. I feel like you stepping into your North Node, like we were talking about before, is going to be really inspiring to other people. When they see how successful you are when you're really brave and you make those hard decisions, you make those choices, you adjust to these changes, you're going to be a big source of inspiration, I feel like, for a lot of other people. All right, we're going to use our cat meme tarot to find out your high versus your low for 2024. Let's start with your high. Group 1, your high for 2024. Ooh, we have the Emperor. Yes, so definitely if you're wanting to have more power, more control, more authority over your life, and I definitely feel like this involves your career or your professional life for many of you, it feels like you're in a leadership position. So either you're getting a promotion, you're starting a new job where you have a higher position than what you're used to. Instead of, having a supervisor, you're the one who is supervising, you're the one who is delegating, or it could signify a graduation. So if you know you're due to graduate in 2024, that could definitely be a high for you next year. And also, like I said, for those of you who are wanting to start your own business or put more time into your current business, you're going to have a lot of success in doing so. This is the energy of being your own boss. Now let's look at your low for 2024. Okay, we've got the Lovers. Now the Lovers can talk about a decision that you have to make. Let's get our Crystal Unicorn. Can we clarify this Lovers card, please, Spirit? Page of Swords. The Five of Swords. Okay. There's some kind of disagreement. There's some kind of argument where someone doesn't agree with your decision. This is talking about a big choice that you're going to have to make in 2024, and that choice, that decision is going to be different for all of you, but it's some kind of crossroads in your life. And there's someone who just isn't supportive, someone who, is being a bit, I'm hearing the word immature. I feel like they just speak before they think, and they make quick judgments without knowing all of the information, or they just assume that they know best. This person kind of seems a bit pushy, and they don't really kind of respect your right to make decisions for yourself. This feels like someone who, is just a bit judgmental. And I do feel like you're choosing yourself with this Five of Swords, but there are some hurt feelings there, because this person is taking it very personally, that you are not just agreeing with them and listening to what they tell you that you're supposed to do or what would be best for you, when really, you're just listening to your own intuition, your own gut on the matter, your own heart, what feels right to you, but they're taking it personally as if you don't respect them or something like that, when really they're not really respecting you and your own autonomy to make your own decisions. So yes, I just feel like this person, you may have come to them really excited about something you decided to do. They may have discouraged you. They may have criticized your decision and just made you feel really bad about something that you were previously excited about. And so I just feel like it's a really difficult conversation. And maybe you have a little bit of guilt about it, maybe you wish that you had had more patience in the conversation, or that you had kept your temper, because I think it really upsets you. And maybe you have an emotional response, you tear up, you cry, and maybe you wish that you had kept it together a bit more. But none of it's your fault. It's really hard when you're super excited about something and you're feeling really optimistic, And even if someone has good intentions towards you and they're trying to present a different perspective or, protect you from getting disappointed, it can kind of take the wind out of your sails. And it can kind of keep you stuck, because sometimes we are meant to take risks. Sometimes we are meant to take a chance, take a gamble. Okay? So I think you're really brave. I think you're really brave for choosing what feels right to you. And this other person, if they really care about you, if they really love you, they'll get with the program. Okay? Like they'll start to understand, like, this is what you've decided. You're not changing your mind, and either they can support you or not. But if you're going to do it anyway, they may as well be supportive. So hopefully they come to that conclusion. But I think it's the way that they say it to you that feels harsh or that feels mean-spirited. Even if they don't mean it that way, I think just the way that they're saying it in such a blunt way makes you feel bad about yourself. And so you have a reaction to it. So I feel like it's just a really hard conversation. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the top 3 major events in your life in 2024, group 1. We'll get 3 cards for the first event first. Okay, we have the 9 of Wands, we have the Page of Pentacles, and we have Justice. And your bottom of the deck is the 7 of Cups. I do feel like this is referencing that big decision we were talking about you having to make in 2024. Because I feel like it comes at a point when you're so exhausted. You're so exhausted, you feel like you've given your all, your entire effort to something, and you're just sick of it. And it gives this energy of like, what am I even defending? Why am I even investing all of this effort into something that honestly, I don't really care too much about, that isn't really giving me a return on my investment? And so it's you deciding to walk away from something that you have poured your heart, your energy, your time into, your hopes into, and you being brave enough to have a fresh start in something. And so you're leaving behind something that just wasn't working. It wasn't giving you the return on your investment that you needed. And with Justice here, that bravery is being rewarded. You saying, I deserve better than this, and you not being afraid to start over from scratch with something is bringing a lot of good karma into you, because you're saying, I deserve better. I deserve a return on my investment. I deserve to get as much back as I put in. And this could be in love, this could be in career, it could be in a friendship, so many different things. So just apply it how it resonates. But if there's something that, in 2023, you're like, this has just exhausted me, I can't do this anymore, and you've been thinking about walking away, in 2024, you will. You will. And you'll start to see the benefits of doing so. You're walking away from something that you were meant to walk away from, and in doing so, you are getting exactly what you deserve. So this is telling me that you were right to make that big decision. Let's get the second major event in your life. We've got the 5 of Pentacles as the first card. We have the Knight of Cups. And we have the 8 of Swords. Okay. I do think that another major event in your life, and these don't have to be in order, okay? I didn't put that stipulation on Spirit, but another major event in your life is when you're encountering some sort of temporary hardship with this 5 of Pentacles. This is a temporary situation for you. It's not for the whole year. This could be you feeling a real lack of social support. This could be you having some sort of financial struggle, some sort of setback. There's going to be someone who is really kind, someone who's really sweet, someone who's really supportive, who's going to come and help you get out of this energy by giving you some kind words, some emotional support, some really great advice that helps you take this blindfold off and see that the only person who's been keeping you in this Five of Pentacles is yourself. It's yourself. So where you didn't previously see a way out of a certain situation, you thought you were trapped, you thought you were stuck, your guides are sending you help in the form of some helpful human being. And they're coming in like your little guardian angel. Okay? Like they are going to give you the exact help that you need to get unstuck. So don't freak out about this Five of Pentacles. Most of y'all know I don't really like this card. Scares me. It's a really difficult energy to be in. But the beautiful thing about this transition is that you won't be out in the cold for long. You will have someone come into your life, or someone who's already in your life, give you the exact support that you need at a really difficult time, so you can unburden yourself. You can stop disempowering yourself. And this person could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But you're not going to feel trapped. You're not going to feel stuck. And I think that this is going to be a really great life lesson for you. So if you get yourself into this situation again, where you feel like you have no choice, where you feel like you're stuck, you're going to start to see that you're never really stuck. You always have more power, more choice in a situation than you realize. And that every problem is ultimately figure-outable, or something you learn to cope with, something you learn to live with, but you will overcome it. Let's get the third major event in your life. So I feel like this Knight of Cups is going to play a huge role in your life. Okay, we have the Eight of Cups. So this is you definitely walking away from things that don't serve you in 2024. Yeah, you are saving yourself. Six of Swords. And we've got Temperance here. Balance. Okay, I feel like another major theme for you in 2024 is balance. Awakening to what you deserve. Understanding that when you put effort, time, energy, love into something, you deserve to get that energy reciprocated. So whether it's your professional life, your love life, your close interpersonal connections, whatever it is, you deserve to get back as much as you put in. So if you're someone who tends to overgive, and again, whether it's in love or your professional life or whatever, if you tend to overgive, if you tend to burn yourself out, you're not doing that anymore in 2024. And so we've had this repeating message of you choosing to walk away from something. So it may be something that happens in your life a few times in 2024 where you decide to walk away from something. And with the Six of Swords being over this Knight of Cups here, I feel like this supportive person helps you with the Six of Swords, put your plan into action, helps you walk away from whatever this thing is. And you're moving in a better direction. The Six of Swords is such a positive card. It's moving in a better direction. It's moving away from something that was chaotic, unstable, hurting you in some sort of way, something that ultimately wasn't serving you, something that was keeping you stuck, keeping you disempowered, keeping you unhappy, moving away from that and finding beautiful balance in your life. And I feel like you're patient with the process. You don't expect that after you walk away from this, everything's going to be automatically perfect, but you are, I think, happy to start rebuilding. You're happy to start again. You're really optimistic about having a fresh start. You don't feel like you've lost everything. You feel like you've gained space in your life for the things that you do want, for the people that are going to make you happy, whatever this is. And for some of you, if this isn't about your professional life, and it may be about multiple areas of your life, but I am hearing this quote, and I don't know who this is from, but if this is about your close personal connections or one relationship in your life, I'm hearing I would rather adjust my life to their absence than adjust my boundaries to tolerate their disrespect. I would rather adjust my life to their absence than adjust my boundaries to their disrespect. That's key. If this is talking about a close relationship in your life or certain people in your life, that phrase is key. And your bottom of the deck is the Wheel of Fortune. So I do feel like there is divine intervention in this, because remember, I said I feel like this Knight of Cups is coming in like a guardian angel. So they're delivering a message to you from the divine. The divine is using them as a vessel to help you through this process. All right, let's find out how your future self would sum up your year. How would they describe your year? And we'll get 3 cards for this. We have that feeling when you pick the perfect pumpkin. I don't know if that card has ever come out before. That feeling when you wing it in the kitchen and it turns out you're a god. Okay, I'm loving this for you. Let's get your final card. That feeling when ordering takeout with friends, you could eat whatevs except the first 100 suggestions. Okay. I feel like this last card is talking about that 7 of Cups energy that we had before, and you having to make a really big decision and you being at a crossroads with something. And again, that may happen a few times in 2024 where you find yourself having to make some really big life decisions. And you know, sometimes that happens when we make a big life change. Because we made that first big change, now we have to make other big decisions as a result. So think, for example, if you decide to move somewhere and it's a really big move, okay, now I have to decide, where am I going to work? Where am I going to live? You know, all of that good stuff. So I think one big decision leads to you having to make more big life choices. And so I do think that for a time with that 8 of Swords, you do feel stuck. You do feel like you don't know where you're going. With this middle card, I do feel like this is that Page of Pentacles that we had before, where we were talking about you being okay with starting from scratch, you understanding like you do deserve better, and you being willing to take a risk. I feel like you're starting something new in 2024, and it's a gamble. It's something you've never done before, and you're not sure how it's going to turn out, but you're kind of just rolling with it. You're kind of just doing your best and seeing how it goes. And other people in your life may be like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure about that? But it pays off for you in a really big way. And so it may be a gamble, but you have the raw talent. You have the skill set. You have, like, you're savvy enough to pull this off. And people are going to be like, that was like really impulsive. That was really reckless. But then when you find your success, they're going to say, that was really brave. Wow, I wish I had the courage to do that. And it's going to be really inspirational to other people. And you may also just be finding new hobbies, things that you didn't know that you were good at. That's why I said, like, discovering new parts of yourself. And I think especially in anything that's related to creativity or running a business. And that feeling when you pick the perfect pumpkin, I feel like whatever you were struggling with, when we're talking about those crossroads, whatever you were struggling with, just have reassurance here and now that you are going to make the right decisions. Trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust your gut, and trust your future self to be more than capable of handling whatever choices you're making now and the outcomes that's going to have for your future. Your future self can handle it. They're up to the task. And also, that feeling when you pick the perfect pumpkin, this could be talking about like you finding the perfect job for yourself, you finding the perfect romantic partner for you. There's just this feeling of like, I picked the right one. I picked the perfect apartment, the perfect house. I picked the perfect neighborhood, the perfect area to live in. There's just this feeling of being super satisfied with your choices. So for all of that anxiety, for all of that stuck feeling, for all of that fear of the unknown, for all of that, you end up making decisions that you are so happy with in 2024. And they're, like I said, really big decisions. And your bottom of the deck is that feeling when the glasses were on your head the whole time. This is telling me you knew what you were meant to do the whole time. Like you always had the answers within you. In your heart of hearts, you always knew the sort of life that you were meant to be living. You always knew what your soul was calling you towards. You always knew it. And so I think that's part of this too, is this rediscovery of self, coming home to yourself that we were talking about at the start of your reading. All right, now we'll get advice from your guides on how to have the best 2024, and then we'll get your wild card messages to end your reading. It says, focus your attention on what could go right. When you learn to imagine the best case scenario, you get to enjoy the same experience twice. You're really being encouraged to be optimistic, to be a dreamer, to be imaginative. Remember, like your very first cards were talking about imagination, right? Inspiration. So don't let anyone slow your roll. Don't let anyone talk you out of your dreams. Because it's funny, it's like you have one person who comes in and is really supportive and gives you exactly what you need, and you have another person, that Page of Swords, who's trying to hold you back. And for some of you, it may be your own inner critic, but I think for most of you, it's a person in your life. But imagine the best case scenario. You're being encouraged to be optimistic, to be an idealist in 2024, and it's going to pay off. They want you to expand what you believe is possible in your life. I'm hearing they want you to believe in miracles again. They want you to believe in magic again. They don't want you to limit yourself. We have abundance. Yeah, so for a lot of you, this could be related to your career and professional life. We have being a thoughtful steward for money you already have is the secret to creating more abundance. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up. Yeah, some of you may have some limiting beliefs around money that you don't even know that you have. Some of you may be a little bit afraid of becoming financially literate, or you feel like you can't understand money, or if you came into money, you wouldn't be sure how to save it or to invest it. Maybe you tend to, spend your money less carefully than you mean to. Or maybe if you start your own business and money starts coming in, you don't know what to do with it to grow your business. So I feel like you're going to be healing a lot of fears around managing money in 2024. And financially, you're doing a lot better. You are definitely having more abundance. And then we have space. The quality of your life has more to do with what you remove from your life than what you add to it. Give yourself the gift of space. We mentioned that earlier in your reading. We were talking about you walking away from something, and instead of having fear or remorse or regret, you're grateful for the space you have in your life for the right stuff to come in, what you deserve. So it's like you celebrating space, not you sitting there being upset because you're unemployed or single or whatever. Instead, you looking at the potential of like, I have the space for the right things, the right people, the right opportunities to come into my life. I have space to create what I want. So I'm not afraid to start over from scratch. And then you also had rituals. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. It says, steady yourself with simple rituals. Do the dishes, fold laundry, water the plants, make a cup of tea, let wisdom sneak up on you. And this is so true. I think if you're in that moment, that crossroads moment, and you are just really, really struggling, and you don't know what to do, and you're having a really hard time distinguishing fear from intuition, anxiety from intuition, try your best to just focus on doing simple tasks. Focus on doing what is in front of you. Get up, get active, just start doing things, tidying up around your house. And the answers will come to you. Like with this butterfly, the key to your transformation will come to you when you least expect it. When we quiet our minds, that's when we can receive downloads from spirit, the guidance that we need. We can connect with our own inner voice. Remember how you had that bottom of the deck. The glasses were on your head the whole time. You had the answer the whole time within you. And you know how we talked about way back here, that Knight of Cups? If it's not an actual person in your life, it could be a tarot reading. It could be a tarot reading that you have in 2024 that really speaks to you and gives you the exact message that you need. So help can always come in many different forms. Okay, for the rest of your advice cards here, we have trust in the places you feel guided towards, space, time, and self, infinity, reincarnation, and the 5D. I definitely feel like 2024 is the year where Spirit really wants you to be open and receptive to the signs that they send you. Be open and receptive. When you feel guided towards something, when you feel called towards something, it's for a reason. When we have a desire, there's a reason why we feel called to it. There's a reason why we feel pushed towards something. Your dreams and desires are your dreams and desires for a reason. It's not there to taunt you. It's because it was meant for you. So, answer the call. Like your soul, your higher self is calling you towards your life purpose, towards the life that you are meant to be living. So answer the call. And then I just covered this up here because it does have a curse word on it. But essentially, this fairy card, blessings, flow, magical energy, go with the flow. Go with the flow of life. Go where you feel called towards. And remember who you are. Remember the magic that you possess. Remember that you and Spirit are co-creators together. You're not doing this alone. You have divine support. Remember your talent, remember your skills, remember the unique abilities that you have, remember what you bring to the table. Be confident in 2024. And there we have, there is a place within me, still, calm, steady, and eternal. Guru, protection, and peace. Whenever things feel chaotic and uncertain and scary in 2024, when you're about to make those big decisions and you feel afraid, remember that there's always a center of calm within you. You can always be a safe space for yourself. Remember, we said come home to yourself. And you always have that divine support. You're always connected to the divine. So lean into that and ground yourself. And be mindful of where you seek spiritual guidance from. Be very mindful of that. And be very mindful of anyone that threatens your peace. And ask yourself, is that relationship, is that connection worth my peace? We talked about that too. It's better to adjust to their absence than adjust to their lack of respect. Protect your peace. There's nothing more valuable than your time and your peace of mind. So anything you can do to help yourself feel grounded, to help yourself feel connected to the divine, whatever spiritual practice resonates with you. If you like to work with crystals, if you like to get outside in nature, if you like to meditate, journal, pray, pull cards for yourself, whatever helps you connect to spirit, keep a gratitude journal, lean into that. Lean into that. Okay, you guys got 2 spirit cat messages. We have focus. Meet Artemis. She is the master hunter. She can focus her attention like a laser beam. She has crystal clear vision and razor sharp hearing. She even has some extra antenna that can pick up on subtle clues. She observes everything and knows how to be invisible, and leaps out at the perfect moment. We often have a zillion ideas floating in our minds. We are multitasking machines. When Artemis shows up, it is time to pick up one thing, to hone in and quell distractions. How will we ever catch that mouse if we don't focus on it, letting everything else fade into the background for a moment? One of these big life decisions that you're going to make in 2024 is going to require incredible focus. So think about it. For example, and this is just an example, if you decide to start your own business, that's going to require so much focus, so much attention. And other people in your life may pull on your energy, but I think you're going to have to be really firm with your boundaries. Like, hey, it's not that I don't appreciate or value our relationship, but I have to be focused right now. I can't say yes to everybody. Not right now. I have to be focused. And so again, that's just an example, but those big decisions that you're making in 2024 are going to require a lot of energy and a lot of attention so that you can pull it off, so that you can have the outcome that you want. And then we have curiosity. Meet Blaze. With eternal kitten eyes, he experiences each instance of sight, smell, and sensation as if for the very first time. His mind is a delightful question mark. When he meets another kitty, visits an unfamiliar place, or tries something new, his mind is not addled by presumptions and assumptions. He is simply open and curious. Most of all, he is curious about himself. He asks, what am I feeling right now? What do I believe and why do I believe it? What is my heart trying to tell me? Let's cultivate this playful kitten's curiosity so we may continually learn, evolve, and discover. I said, Group 1, 2024 is your year to come home to yourself, to rediscover who you are, to be in alignment with your soul's purpose, your soul's calling. And so I feel like you are willing to take more chances. You are willing to try new things. And it's sort of like you're trying on different hats and you're seeing which one is the best for you. And if it doesn't fit, you move on. But you're asking yourself, how do I feel? Not what everyone else tells me I should feel, not what everyone else tells me what I should want. How do I feel? Is this right for me? What is my heart trying to tell me? You're following your own inner guidance. You're following signs from the divine. You're not making decisions anymore based upon what other people tell you that you should do. You are empowering yourself. You're making choices for yourself. And because you're doing that, you are in alignment with who you are and who you're meant to be. Your higher self. Because when we take too much advice from other people about what we should do, we end up with a life that reflects what they want or what they want for us, not what feels truly right for us. None of us know what someone else truly wants or desires as well as they do. You know yourself better than anyone. So again, the answers were within you all along. All right, group 1, your wild card messages. We have box, you will receive a gift. And then with it came success. So whatever is in the box is related to your success. It's going to make you feel really successful. So this will probably be a gift from the divine. Some unlikely support, some sort of lucky break, lucky opportunity. We have chair filled. Someone new is entering your life. And we have jug, lighthearted, carefree time. I like that this card came out for you all because I feel like you need that because your reading was quite heavy, right? Like you're making a lot of major life decisions. You're having some tough conversations with people. You're defending your choices. You're doing a lot of self-discovery, a lot of connecting to the divine. So to see this come out, this lighthearted, carefree time, I feel like that's very necessary for you all in 2024. So it's nice to see that balance come in. Let's see if we can get any information about who is entering your life. Okay. We have King of Swords. So this could be a divine masculine person. So it doesn't have to be a man, but someone who is in their masculine energy. Could be an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. And it could be someone who's quite mature or someone who's older than you or just someone who is in a higher vibrational level. And with Death and the Hermit, I feel like this person could come into your life after you've been alone for some time and you've done some healing. So for some of you, this could be a new romantic partner coming in. But be sure to check out the love reading that we're going to be doing. This could also be signifying both of you have been a bit closed off for a while. The King of Swords can find it a bit difficult to open up emotionally. The King of Swords tends to intellectualize their feelings a lot. And so this could signify that both of you have trouble with this, but that you help each other to feel safe to emotionally open up. So both of you may have some trust issues there. I do feel like this person, they're either a romantic partner or they're going to be someone who's like a mentor to you. For some of you, and just a few of you, this could be someone from your past that you're reconciling with, but it would have to be, because this says someone new is entering your life, it would have to be with this death card that they went through a major transformation, like to the point to where you wouldn't even recognize them anymore. They are so different than how they used to be. So that's why I said, like, for the majority of you, this is going to be a totally new person coming into your life. For maybe even just one person watching this reading, it could be someone from your past that you're reconciling with, but again, they would have done so much inner work, they would have changed so much that you wouldn't even recognize them anymore. They would be like someone totally new. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with Superthanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Hi Group 2, welcome to your 2024 prediction. So I just want to let you all know that this reading is not going to focus on your love life. I will be uploading 2 separate love life predictions for 2024. One will be for singles and the other one will be for those of you already in a relationship. And so just be on the lookout for those readings. They're probably not going to upload on the same day. So if I upload the single ones first, just know if you're in a partnership, you know, the video for you will be uploading the next day. So this reading is also not going to touch on your career because I thought about it. Well, I mean, if the messages come through, I will bring it up 100%, but I'm not going to get specific career messages because I did a separate reading on that called The Next Chapter in Your Career. So I will have that in the description box. Now, if your professional life comes up, we'll definitely talk about it, but I'm not going to have that be a separate focus for this reading because you can just go refer to that other tarot reading I've already uploaded. Okay. Now, we're going to start off with a general overview for 2024, and then we're going to talk about your high for the year versus your low. We'll talk about the top 3 major events happening in your life in 2024. We'll discuss how your future self would sum up the year. We'll get the major themes of your life for 2024. We will get advice from your guides on how to have the best year possible next year. And we'll get some wild card messages at the end using the Tea Leaf Oracle. Okay, so let's get into it. Group 2, a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Group 2, your general overview for 2024, Group 2. Okay, Group 2, we have the Princess of Wands, we have the Two of Pentacles, we have the Two of Cups, we have the Five of Wands, and as your bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Swords. I love to see this as your bottom of the deck because if you feel like you were in this energy in 2023, you are definitely leaving it behind. So if you feel like you've had a rough year or a rough couple of years or rough several years, you're leaving that energy behind. Because the thing with this Ten of Swords, this girl has become so used to hurt, betrayal, disappointment, heartbreak, even just for some, even like abuse, that she's just become used to it. It's become her normal. She isn't really fazed when she gets stabbed in the back because she's just used to it, which is really heartbreaking, right? And so if that's been the case for you, where you've just known a lot of that energy, you are leaving that behind. You've healed so much, and it's time for a new start. With this Princess of Wands, I feel like you're just super excited. You're super excited, you're feeling more playful, you're feeling more lighthearted. You're like, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something new. And so I feel like you're starting 2024 with a really clear head and almost just like the excitement of a child in a good way. In a good way. I feel like you're optimistic. I feel like you're hopeful. Even though with the Ten of Swords, maybe you don't have a good reason to be hopeful, you're still hopeful. And I think there's something really inspiring about that. With the Two of Pentacles, I feel like you're still balancing this out with practicality. And I feel like you're trying to find more balance in your life. You're trying to create more time for the things that you enjoy. I feel like time is a really big thing for you in 2024. You want to have time for yourself. You want to have time for the things that you enjoy. I feel like if there was anything you valued the most next year, it will be your time. And with the Two of Cups, I feel like you're really assessing and making good choices about who you're giving your time to and who you're saying yes to and who you're letting into your life, who you're trusting, because you're leaving that Ten of Swords behind. So I feel like this could be your year to connect with soul family, to connect with the right people, to have healthy connections, to have supportive, loving connections in your life. And with the Five of Wands, you are being so protective over yourself. So protective. You are being really mindful again about who you let into your inner circle. Anyone that has bad intentions towards you, they can't even get close to you next year. I feel like you're so discerning, you're so careful, but in a healthy way, not in a way where you're guarded and you don't trust anybody and you're totally closed off. You're open to the right people, but you have enough, you have good judgment and you're using it. You're very discerning about who you're letting close to you. So anyone who has bad intentions can't even get close enough to you to hurt you because you're not letting them in. You're seeing people for who they are. And you've learned a lot from that Ten of Swords. You developed a really good sense of judgment. We have a time for healing, balsamic moon. We have balanced spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. We have you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. This time for healing, I always say sometimes we learn and we heal through difficult, painful experiences, really tough life lessons. And sometimes we heal and we learn through joy, through love, through positive experiences. Life lessons don't always have to be tough. They don't always have to be hard. They don't always have to be painful. With the Ten of Swords being in your past, you've already learned through difficult, challenging, heartbreaking situations. Now it's time for you to learn and heal through love, through light, through joy, through positive life experiences and connections with others. So are you still healing? Are you still learning? Are you still growing? Yes, because that's a lifelong process. But now the healing feels gentle, right? It's softer, it's easier. It feels heart-opening. And I love that this balance card came out over your Two of Pentacles, which is all about finding balance. And so I feel like you're balancing your spiritual side with your day-to-day practicalities. And so I feel like you're really managing your day-to-day responsibilities, but you're still finding time to connect with your faith, to connect with the divine, to do your spiritual practices, to do things that help you dream, help you feel alive, that pour into your soul. So what pours into your soul? What makes your soul happy? You know, for me, I love to read, I love to write. Obviously, I love to do tarot. Those things, you know, bring joy to my soul. Spending time with my cat brings joy to my soul. So whatever makes your soul feel fulfilled emotionally, whatever brings joy to your heart, whatever helps you connect with your imagination, with the dreamy side to you, because that's Pisces all day long, the dreamy side to you, your own inner world. You're having time for that. And it's because you're making time for it. So you're finding more balance in your schedule. And with you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer, this is that Two of Cups next to the Five of Wands. Not only are you protecting yourself and your own energy, but you're protecting those that you love. And you're protecting, you know, if those soul family members are coming into your life or a romantic soulmate, you are protecting those connections. And you can trust that those connections are safe, that they're not going to leave your life, that they're not going to be ripped away from you. Some of you may have a fear of abandonment, and so that could be something that you're healing through these healthy, loving connections that actually stay. If you're used to people leaving you, 2024 is the year where people stay. And it's the right people. The right people stay in your life. You're not being left anymore. We have she who is wild, untamed, wild, and mysterious. I feel like you're feeling more free in 2024. You're feeling more free to express yourself. You're feeling more free to put yourself out there more. Because I feel like you trust yourself to protect yourself from the wrong energy, from the wrong types of people. And so you're no longer guarded or hiding yourself away. You're no longer in hermit mode. And so it's giving you a great sense of freedom. And with this she who remains, powerful devotion, true worth. I love this so much, she who remains. With that Ten of Swords being your past energy, we know you've been hurt so many times. We know that. And yet you're still sitting powerfully here on your throne. You still know your true worth. You still know that you deserved better, that you didn't deserve any of those swords in your back, right? You still love yourself. Look at all of these protective crystals around her. And she's out in the dead of winter. And yet she still feels powerful. She still radiates her own light, her own warmth. She keeps herself warm. And so the right people are coming into your life, yes. People who will stay, yes. But there's also this sense of like, even if they didn't, I would still be okay. I still know how to take care of myself. I still understand that the most important relationship I'll ever have is with myself. And so you're truly and completely devoted to yourself in a very healthy and beautiful way. You understand that you have to take care of yourself. You have to prioritize yourself. You have to love yourself unconditionally. And you're very connected with your intuition, with the way that she has her hand on the cat here. Very connected with your intuition. So you're very empowered in 2024. You know your worth. And when you know your worth, you don't settle for less. And as much as people try to hurt you or keep you small or limit your potential, it didn't work. You've remained. You're still strong. You're still standing. You're still here. For the 3 major themes of your life in 2024, we have organization, abundance, and victory. With this organization card, I feel like this is really talking about how your time management skills are improving, how you're finding more balance in your life with that 2 of Pentacles that we had before. So you're really organizing your schedule in your day-to-day life to reflect the balance that you want. Because there feels like I need more balance. I need more time for myself. I can't feel so depleted. I can't give away all of my energy to everyone else. I have to have enough for myself. And so you're finding a way to be more strategic with your time, to be more organized. So this could be your year where you finally commit to having a planner, where you finally commit to keeping a daily to-do list, where you're able to say no more when you need to say no. You're not people-pleasing, you're asserting your boundaries. You just feel more put together, more intentional. And you're advocating for yourself. When you need time and space, you're saying it. When you need to ask for help, you're doing it. With this abundance card, I do feel like, yes, your financial situation will likely be improving. Your finances will be getting better. But also, I feel like you have more abundance of the things that you value. Because this card makes me think about, what does true wealth mean? So whatever wealth means to you personally, whatever abundance means to you personally, that's what you're getting in your life. Because I feel like it's not just material things that you value. I feel like part of this abundance for many of you is going to be those healthy connections, those soul family members, having a good support system. I feel like for a lot of you, it's also having time, having free time, having enough time to give to what you want to give to have enough time for your hobbies, your self-care, your passions, having enough time for the things that you want to experience. If there's a trip you've been wanting to take, a vacation you've been in desperate need of, having enough abundance to have the time and, the material, financial resources to make it happen. So abundance, but beyond just money, okay? And with victory here, I feel like you're finding success in a lot of different areas, but I feel like with this victory card, you feel really good about how far you've come, how you've helped yourself, how you've been your own hero. Over and over again, you've been your own hero. And when other people put you in a space where you wanted to give up, or you didn't think you were good enough, where you felt so exhausted you didn't even want to try anymore and you still kept going, your resiliency, your strength, I feel like you're celebrating that in 2024. You're giving yourself the credit that you deserve. You are acknowledging how far you've come, and you're really, really proud of yourself. Are other people proud of you too? Yeah. But I think what matters to you the most is that you're proud of yourself. And so, yeah, I mean, there is a lot of success. I feel like you're feeling a lot better, a lot more in control, a lot more in the driver's seat of your life. You're not feeling victimized anymore. Again, you feel like your own hero. Okay, group 2, we're going to get your high versus your low for the year. And we'll start with your high. Group 2, their high for 2024. Oh, wow, the sun. Let's see if we can clarify that. Actually, we'll clarify that with the Crystal Unicorn deck. So let's go ahead and get your low. It's too many cards. I just want one card. Oh, we got 2. I'll take the 2. We've got the World and we have Judgment. Okay. Let me clarify the sun here, group 2. Oh, wow, we have the Empress and we have the Moon. To get the sun and the moon, that's really cool. Okay, and we will clarify the World and Judgment here as well. Okay, the Page of Cups. And your bottom of the deck is the Strength card for this. Okay, so I'm sorry to say this, but for your high, it's really, really good. With the sun, that's the best of the best. Like, this feeling like things could not get better. Like, I can't imagine a better thing happening to me in my life. It feels euphoric. It feels like you're on top of the world. Okay? But with the Empress card coming out with the Moon, to clarify this, it's very hush-hush. So sometimes Spirit doesn't want to tell you everything, but they are giving you a hint. They are saying that this is something that you have patiently waited to receive. This is something that you have kept your faith on, even though with the Moon, the outcome was very uncertain. It was something that you didn't really feel like you had control over, something that you didn't really feel like you could bring into your life, something that you prayed for, but you had no guarantee that you were going to get it, but you've been patiently waiting. So, this could be like you've been wanting to meet your future spouse kind of thing. You don't feel like you fully have control over that, but you've been praying for it and you've been waiting patiently to meet the right person. This is just an example. But, your guides aren't wanting to tell us more than this, so I'm going to be respectful of that. But again, the hint here is that it's something you've patiently been waiting for and something you've had to keep your faith on. Something that has seemed really uncertain. But it's a really, really good high. I mean, this is like the best possible scenario happening in your life. Now to balance that out with your low, the World, Judgment, Page of Cups, and the Strength card. Something is coming to a close in your life, and it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet, but with the Judgment here, you're realizing you deserve better. And so this thing coming to a close is your decision, is something you're choosing to end. And it's an act of self-love. You're choosing to end it because you know you deserve better. You are loving yourself enough to end something. And so it requires a lot of inner strength. It requires you to understand you deserve better than the Page of Cups. So emotionally, this was giving you breadcrumbs. It wasn't giving you much. It can be a lot of different things. For many of you, it will probably be a connection in your life. Not necessarily romantic, although it could be. It could be a friendship that you're ending. Going no contact with a family member, choosing to love them from a distance. It's bittersweet, but it's an act of self-love. You knowing that you deserve better. Let's go ahead and get the major events in your life, top 3. And we'll get 3 cards for each event, and these events are not necessarily in chronological order. Group 2, I almost called you Group 1. Group 2, major event in your life happening in 2024. 3 cards to represent this, please, Spirit. Okay, it's going to be something fated with the Wheel of Fortune here. So this event cannot be avoided. Ace of Cups. Oh, it's something good though. Princess of Cups. Okay. So like I said, we're not going to get too deep into love messages. Look out for the love predictions that are coming out. But I will say, if you are single going into 2024 and you're hoping to meet a new romantic partner, this could be divine timing, like fate bringing you in alignment with the right person. Ace of Cups. This could be new love coming in. And even if you're in a partnership and things have been rocky, this could be things getting better, potentially. Some sort of fated event that brings you two closer together. This could also be talking about some sort of fated event that happens in your life that forces you to really come into your own power and love yourself in a way that you've never done before, accept yourself in a way that you've never done before, realizing I need to raise my standards. Okay, let's go ahead and get the second major event in your life in 2024. Again, not necessarily in chronological order. Ten of Wands, Five of Cups. Six of Swords. This is, you being your own hero again. Ten of Wands. There's going to be some sort of disappointment that happens that kind of prompts you to realize you've been overburdening yourself. There's something that you've been just kind of blindly, the way her eyes are closed here, kind of just blindly pouring more and more effort into. And in 2024, you're realizing this Ten of Wands is not sustainable. You're going to burn yourself out. And it's not worth it. And you can wallow in this energy with the Five of Cups of being so disappointed that for all of your efforts, it just didn't work out. Or you can focus on this Two of Cups that you still have and this ability you have to rebuild and go in a better direction. And that's exactly what you're doing with the Six of Swords. I feel like with the Six of Swords here, there's this beautiful balance of you being your own hero, but then you also learning how to ask for help. And how sometimes being strong is knowing when to ask for help. So there is a life lesson that's coming from this event. But I feel like you're setting this in motion because you're starting to realize, I cannot carry all of these wands. It's just not sustainable. Like something's got to give, and it can't keep being me. So this is you closing something out. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of a disappointment. But I think in your heart of hearts, you know you're on to better things. And you're grateful for it. And with the Emperor being your bottom of the deck here, this is you taking your power back. Again, you being your own hero. The third event in your life in 2024, third major event for my group 2s here. We have the Knight of Swords. Three of Cups. And the Eight of Pentacles. For some of you, you could have a situation where you're finally getting the credit that you deserve for the hard work that you put in towards something. People are finally starting to notice you and toast like your success here. Starting to recognize the quality of your work. And starting to give you the praise, the positive feedback that you've really been waiting for, that you really deserve. So, I don't know, like, for example, just to give context, and remember, it's just an example, maybe like you've had an Etsy store for a while, and your work, like your product is really, really great. You make quality items, but you just haven't gotten the traffic that you want in your store. Your customer base hasn't grown the way that you've hoped it would. And this could be the year where you finally grow your customer base, where you finally get an influx of positive reviews, of people really appreciating and noticing your work, and you finding success. For others of you, this could be you feel like you've been looked over a lot in your job and you're finally getting that promotion. You're finally getting that positive feedback from your boss. For some of you, this could also be you finding a job where you have a pleasant work environment, where you have a work environment where people are supportive and enjoy each other's company, and it's very peaceful at work instead of a workplace that's very toxic, where there's a lot of gossip and, you know, like unnecessary drama and competition. I also feel like this could talk about you feeling more confident in your skill level and more open about sharing with your friends or sharing with the people that you trust what you're working on. This is a more specific message, but maybe, for example, you've been writing a novel for a while, but you haven't felt comfortable sharing, hey, like I've been writing this book, because maybe you feel a bit silly, or you feel like you're not good enough, or you second guess your work. This is you feeling confident enough to open up and talk about it, and you being pleasantly surprised at how supportive people are. So several different possible messages here. So it could be that it's a varied situation for a lot of you. So just take what resonates. All right, let's take a look at how your future self would summarize 2024 for you all. How would your future self describe the upcoming year? We have that feeling when they remember your favorite flower. With all of the sunflowers on this card, it's giving major Leo energy, but also it's reminding me of you all getting the sun card before for your high. So it really could be a new romantic partner coming in, if that resonates for you all. But also, this card is just making me think of sort of a warm, rosy feeling of when someone remembers a little detail about you And it makes you feel so loved, so cared for, so nurtured, so important, makes you feel seen, makes you feel understood. I feel like they're saying 2024 is going to give you a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings. A lot of warm, fuzzy feelings. So there's a lot of beautiful friendships. There's a lot of soul family connections. There's a lot of love in your life in 2024. And it's making you feel more confident. It's making you feel more supported. I think people feel they're most confident when they feel loved and supported, when they feel nurtured. We have that feeling when your car rounds the bend and the view takes your breath away. Yeah, it's like you've been traveling down this long, dark, winding road for so long, and you didn't know where it was going. You know, it's giving that moon card energy. You didn't know where the path was taking you, but you tried to keep your faith. You tried to keep your faith more than anything, and it was such an act of willpower to do that. It requires so much effort to keep your faith, but you did. And it's like, now I'm reaching a sense of like utopia. Now I'm reaching the payoff. Now I'm reaching a leveling out where the path doesn't have all these twists and turns anymore. It feels straightforward. It feels easier. I'm reaching an easier patch in the road. And I need it. I need it so badly. So again, like if you've had so many rough years, it's like you're due for a good one. You're due for your luck to change. You're due for a gentler, easier cycle. And it feels so worth it. It feels like everything I went through was so worth it. Hell was the journey, but it brought me heaven. That's the feeling. So yeah, maybe a little red string of fate's happening. Maybe there is a beautiful union with your soul family or with your romantic soulmate for some of you. But it feels like everything I went through, this was so worth it. And maybe you never thought you would say that. But that's how good this year is going to feel. Here we go. That feeling when you connect with an animal and pack up and move into the forest because you're a druid now. I feel like this is telling me you may start to make certain lifestyle changes that are a bit unconventional to others. I feel like you're just in this space of like, I want to live my life in a way that feels good to me. I want to spend my time and give my energy to things that feel good to me. So you're very much focused on your values, which I think is really beautiful. And so I think you're less bothered by the fact that your life is less traditional or more unconventional, or that other people may find it weird or different. But I feel like you're owning your path. You're saying, I don't have to have a life that looks like everybody else's to be happy. I'm going to live my life for me. I want a life that feels good, not just one that looks good to other people. And I also feel like for some of you, you could possibly be getting a new pet in 2024. If that doesn't resonate, just leave it. But for some of you, yeah, you could be having a companion animal for sure. Okay, now we will get advice from your guides on how to have the best 2024 possible. Group 2, please, Spirit. A resistance to change is a resistance to life itself. Open your heart and mind to new beginnings. I mean, we did talk about a bittersweet ending that was going to be like an act of self-love. So it could be referring to that. We have feelings here. Healing begins with feeling. Be gentle with yourself and tender with your heart. We talked about this with your Moonology card, where we said you've done the healing through painful experiences. Now it's time to heal through love, through joy, through a sense of gentleness. Healing doesn't have to be challenging or harsh. Sometimes it can be loving and gentle. And healing can happen through loving connections. I don't know if you guys can hear Tallulah. She just had a big sniffle. Poor kitty. We have Rebel. It's time to celebrate the fact that you don't fit in. Stand on your own 2 feet. Yeah, I mean, and I love that it came over top of this card, because with this one we were talking about you owning the fact that your life is unconventional and that you're not the most traditional person, and that you're honoring what makes you unique, what makes you different, and celebrating that. So how perfect. So you're not afraid to go your own way in 2024. We have it's time to leave the old behind. Rebirth, shedding the chrysalis, taking risks. I may have pronounced that wrong. But this is you leaving that cocoon. This is you, really kind of being in your sort of butterfly year of your life. It's time to transform. It's time to be open. It's time to show what makes you unique and different. You're not meant to keep hiding yourself away anymore. And you have reached a significant place in your healing journey. You really have. You've done so much healing, so much inner work. And we have potential and possibility, future, highest self, quantum. Reach out to, what does this say? Reach out to the potential that is calling for you. I love this because we talked about you coming into alignment with your higher self, or at least I think we did. You opening up to the best possible version of you. You celebrating what makes you different, what makes you unique. It says, if you're in need of a lesson, there is wisdom in the trees, spirit of the tree, nature, priestess, and inner peace. If you find yourself struggling at any point in 2024, get out into nature. That's very practical, easy to follow advice. And if you don't have access to nature or a park or anything like that, or you just don't feel comfortable, get some houseplants. Watch some nature videos. If you pull up cat TV, you can watch live streams of birds and things like that. Yeah. And we have the great goddess, transcendence and divinity. You know what? 100%. Being in alignment with divine feminine energy. Group 1 got that message as well. But divine feminine energy. Knowing when to surrender, knowing when to let go versus when to push forward. That's going to benefit you so much in 2024. And I feel like self-care, self-love, self-acceptance, any way that you can show yourself that you unconditionally love yourself is really going to benefit you next year. Okay, let's get some spirit cat cards for you, and then we'll get your wild card messages. Okay. I love the colors on this one. We have passion. Meet Ember. She is the light blazing inside our being. She is our fire, our drive, our fuel. She is our very life force, yearning and stretching in the direction of our love. Notice what makes Ember begin to glow and burn brighter. Perhaps it is talking openly with a friend or cuddling with your love. Or perhaps it's playing your guitar, scaling a mountain, or writing your story. Look for that spark within and honor it. Stoke that fire with intention. Honor your passion with time and dedication. Feed that flame with devotion. Let passion ignite your life with beauty, energy, and purpose. 100%. Aligning with what you're passionate about. We talked about in the very beginning with that Two of Pentacles, you wanting to find more balance in your time. With organization, we talked about better time management, so you have time for what makes you happy. This is it. Follow your passion. Notice what sparks that passion within you. What makes you feel a sense of love in your life? What makes your heart happy? The great goddess, follow what makes your heart happy. Make time for that. Okay, let's go ahead and get your wild card messages now. And these just give Spirit, an opportunity to share a little bit more with you that maybe we didn't touch on. We have Elephant. A long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. And we have Claw. Be careful. Do not take risks. I love this a lot. I really do, because I feel like you've already been on this long journey. And now you're in this kind of place where you're meant to settle a little bit. With like the claw, the way it's kind of like going into the earth. Settle a little bit. Find a place of rest. This is meant to be a more gentle year for you. Be in that divine feminine energy. You got the Empress for your high, right? Clarifying that sun. Your high is not going to come, like the best part of your 2024 is not going to come from you pushing forward or trying to control something. It comes from feminine energy, being receptive, keeping your faith, trusting that what you want will come to you. You don't have to chase it down. It will come to you. So settle into this gentle year. It's supposed to be an easier year. You're not supposed to push so much. You're supposed to have time for rest, for self-restoration. You're meant to receive blessings, not chase them down. We have Ladder, climbing towards success, and we have Money Path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it. Yeah, I mean, we already said this is going to be a more abundant year for you. And I think it's going to be, like we said, you're reaching this place in your journey where it doesn't feel like this twisting, winding, dark road. It feels like the view opens up. It feels like the path is more straightforward. It's easier. That's partially this money path. Finding the ladder to success. Having it be an easier climb. It's not so difficult anymore to find your abundance. It's coming to you. It's being presented to you. All you have to do is choose to walk down it. It's coming to you. So finances, like we said, are definitely improving in 2024. And we have a chain of events that will affect your life. See if we can get one more card about this chain of events. It says, Bull, do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. We have Bouquet, compliments from an admirer, and Target, a goal-oriented person. So when we asked about the chain, we got 3 more cards. Compliments from an admirer, a goal-oriented person. Do not back down. I feel like all 3 of these cards are talking about the same person. There's going to be a person who comes into your life who sparks a chain of events that changes your life. And they're going to be someone who is complimentary towards you, someone who is really ambitious and goal-oriented. And it could be that they are goal-oriented towards you. They want you to be someone in their life. This could very well be romantic for some of you. Or this could possibly be someone who wants you to like work for their company or something like that. Someone offering you a job opportunity. And they're not backing down. Like they are actively pursuing you. And not that you're saying no to them, but just that they are making it very clear to you that they want you. And again, it could be in a romantic sense or a professional sense, but they want you somehow involved in their life here. And they have great respect and admiration for you, I'm hearing. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with Superthanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading.
Pas de soleil, 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 pas de soleil.
So before we get started, I just want to go over very quickly the format for today's reading. So we're going to start off with just a general overview with your tarot and a couple of oracle decks. Then we'll get into your highest point in 2024, so the best moment in 2024 for you, and then we'll also get your lowest moment for 2024. Then we will get the top 3 major events happening in your life. We will also get the major themes. So we'll get the top 3 major themes in your life next year. We will also find out how your future self would sum up the year. So how would your future self describe what 2024 is going to be like for you? Then we will get advice from your guides on how you can have the best year possible next year. And then we will wrap up your reading with some wildcard messages using the tea leaf cards. And I have a lot more. I mean, there's so many tea leaf cards, like so many. Okay, so we'll do that. And then I did just want to say, so most of you I think are aware, I'm in my second trimester of pregnancy, and second trimester for the most part has been better, but today I'm having so many stomach cramps. I looked it up. I think it's just round ligament pain. especially with where I'm having the cramps and what they feel like. But I got my heating pad and I think I'm gonna be okay. I just wanted to let you all know in case I seem, I don't know, off, or I don't know if I sound different in this reading in any sort of way. It's just because I'm having these stomach cramps. I do think it's gonna help me to film, to get my mind off of, you know, how it's hurting, because just like sitting in bed, it's not enough of a distraction. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know in case I sound a little bit off. And I almost forgot, I'm going to be uploading a separate love prediction for 2024. So if love messages come up, we'll touch on it, but we're not going to get specific. I'm going to upload a reading for singles and then upload a separate reading for people who are in a committed relationship, okay, for couples. So there's going to be two separate 2024 love predictions being posted, and I'll make a community post letting you guys know the dates for that as well. And let me see. Oh, I'm not going to do any specific career messages in this reading. If stuff comes up, we'll definitely talk about it, but I just did a reading on the next chapter in your career, so it felt redundant to do a bunch of career messages in this one. So if you're wanting some more information about your career, your professional life, your finances, definitely go check out that reading, and I'll try to make sure that I remember to put it in the description box for you all. Okay, let's get started. All right, group 3, we'll use the Weird Cat Tarot for you all today. Let's find out your general overview for 2024, Group 3. A big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages, Group 3. And we'll do all uprights today. Oh wow, the 10 of Cups. Aren't you guys lucky? Okay. Beautiful. 3 of Pentacles. Oh, Tallulah's munching on some food over there. Hopefully that's not too loud. We got the 4 of Cups, the Chariot. Okay. I do want to see what this 4 of Cups is about. Let me grab the Crystal Unicorn Tarot deck and we'll get this clarified. Clarifying the 4 of Cups, please, Spirit. The World and the Emperor. And then can we clarify the Chariot, please? Wheel of Fortune, okay. Interesting. Let's get one more card. 9 of Cups. Oh, I see. Okay. This threw me off for a second because the Chariot always talks about us being in the driver's seat. It's very much a card about free will. And then you get it clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, which is all about fate and divine intervention and very much a lack of free will. You know, like we just basically get to decide how we respond to the Wheel of Fortune, but we don't get to determine which way, you know, that wheel spins. That's not really on us. So, at first I was like, wait a second. But with the 9 of Cups coming out also, it makes sense. So there's going to be a moment in time in 2024, and it's a very big moment in your life where there's some sort of divine intervention, some sort of fated event that forces you to make a decision on something. So the Wheel of Fortune isn't coming in and making this choice for you, but it is forcing you to make a decision. So something will happen to where it's like, okay, I have to act now. I can't delay this. It's not up to me, like in terms of the timing. So for example, and this is the 9 of Cups is a wish fulfillment. So let's say, and this is just for example, let's say you get offered your dream job, but it's very far away. Like maybe you just applied to it on a whim. You weren't really thinking you were gonna get it. or maybe you were scouted, by a recruiter, and you're like, man, maybe you're just scrolling around on Indeed and you see, a great job opportunity, but it's far away, and you just apply to see what happens. But then they call you, you do a phone interview, whatever, and you actually get it. But they tell you, we need you to start, if you're going to take this job, like we need to know if you're going to accept our offer, I don't know, in the next 2 weeks, we need an answer. So that would be like divine intervention, like, hey, you got the job. Are you going to take it? You only have 2 weeks to decide. You can't put that off. Either it's a yes or a no. You got to let them know. They're waiting on your answer. So something like that. But it's something related to a big wish of yours. And so I feel like Spirit is coming into your life and forcing you to be brave in going after the things that you want, because the Chariot is a card of success. So it's like we're forcing you to step up, because sometimes we keep ourselves small. Sometimes we have imposter syndrome. Sometimes we don't say yes to the opportunities given to us because we're scared of failing, or we feel like we don't deserve them in some way. And I think that happens, sometimes with people who get successful young, or they get success at a faster rate than what they were expecting. It's like, I want to slow down. But, once that wheel starts turning in your favor, it starts spinning. And so, there may be a little bit of that, but know that you deserve this opportunity. Know that you're good enough for it. Know that you can make something great of this. Don't let your fear or your self-doubt hold you back. Because I feel like it's going to be very obvious to you because it talks about being pulled in 2 different directions, right? It's going to be very obvious to you which path would bring you wish fulfillment. It's basically like, here's this opportunity, this golden opportunity that would be like a wish come true. Are you going to take it or not? And the only thing holding you back from taking it is yourself. You're talking yourself out of it because you're afraid you're going to drop the ball in some way. And this could be applied to so many different things. You get accepted to your dream grad school, but then you start to talk yourself out of it because maybe you're worried it's going to be too academically competitive. And maybe you're worried you don't have what it takes. Maybe you meet the love of your life, but you have a fear of abandonment and it's holding you back. Or you have trust issues and it's holding you back. There's something holding you back, but it's something internal. It's a self-limiting belief. It's your own fear. It's your own self-doubt holding you back. But Spirit is forcing you to make a decision. And I think the reason why they're doing that is they don't want you to overthink it. They don't want you to get in your head. They don't want you to overanalyze it. They don't want you to talk yourself out of your blessing. And that's what this 4 of Cups is. Don't talk yourself out of your blessing. It was clarified by the Emperor and the World. So these things are related. It's all related. This is a very big moment in 2024 for you. And it's going to set the tone for the rest of your year. Even if it comes in at the 6-month mark, it's affecting the rest of the year. Okay? So it doesn't matter at what time it comes in, if it's at the very start or the middle, whatever, it's affecting the rest of your year. If it's happening at the end of 2024, then it's bleeding over into 2025. It's setting the tone, I think, not only for the rest of your year, but probably for the next several years, quite honestly, because it's a really big decision. And with the Emperor and the World, it's a big wish come true. It's a big sort of like, with the World here, goal completion. Like you're unlocking a new level. And that's why it's so scary, right? Because it's asking you to step up. It's asking you to be a boss. It's asking you to be brave, to take control of your life. Remember the Chariot, your willpower. Time for you to empower yourself. It's time to take action. It's time to do something. So you're meant to really embody this divine masculine energy. And I mean, remember, your gender doesn't matter here. You're meant to take action. It's time to accept this blessing. Don't ignore it. Don't let it go stale. Don't lose this opportunity. And I mean, with the Three of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups being here, this is a year where you can have so much emotional fulfillment. This is a year where you can really feel like you're on top of the world. Where you can feel like you're appreciated, like you're valued, you're seen. You're feeling seen by the universe. You don't feel overlooked anymore. You feel recognized. This is like your year for star power. You can do something really, really great. And you can create for yourself the life that you want. But you have to take this opportunity and run with it. Because if you don't do anything with this, if you talk yourself out of your blessing, if you ignore it, if you're too scared, it's not going to go anywhere. This is potential. This is potential energy for you. There's no guarantee of this in 2024. It's just potential energy, these two cards. These two cards are going to happen. If you say yes to this opportunity, if you go after your wish fulfillment, if you step up, if you take charge, if you're brave, then this is guaranteed. But if you don't do anything, you stay in this Four of Cups, you stay where you're comfortable, you don't change, you don't evolve, you don't grow, you don't push yourself to try something new, to take a chance, this is not happening. It's just potential energy. So it's almost like your guides are like dangling a carrot in front of you, you know, like the old school cartoons. And they're like, come on. Like they're trying to coax like a scared little bunny rabbit. Come on. And I don't mean that offensively. Because we all have felt imposter syndrome. We all have self-limiting beliefs. We all have moments where we doubt ourselves and where we're afraid, but you just can't let it hold you back. You know, like your feelings are valid. You don't have to push them down. If you're afraid, that's okay. Feel afraid, feel scared, it's okay. It's okay to feel insecure. That's a very normal human emotion. However, you still have to do the thing anyway. And that's the key. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel prepared. You don't have to feel confident. You can absolutely fake it till you make it. You just have to do it anyway. You just have to say yes to the opportunity anyway, even if you don't have it all figured out, even if, like I said, you're shaking in your boots, you're scared, do it anyway. You got this. You're really doing yourself a disservice if you stay in your comfort zone. Okay, group 3, we have a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. We have faith in your dreams, waxing crescent moon. And we have the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. And as your bottom of the deck, we have you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. If we had to sum up anything we've talked about thus far as a way to help you in 2024, because I feel like we're already getting into the advice for 2024, it would be to remember that you are good enough. And don't set this expectation that you have to be perfect to get what you want, or that you have to be perfect to be deserving of this blessing. It's not the case. Your guides would not present you with this opportunity. The universe would not give you this blessing if they didn't feel like you couldn't handle it, if they felt like you didn't deserve it, if they felt like you weren't up to the task. They didn't present you with the blessing to taunt you. They know you can handle it. And so remember how we were talking about it would benefit you to be in a divine masculine energy in 2024. That's this full moon in Aries. This is cardinal fire. You better go after it with everything you got. You better believe in what you're passionate about. You better believe it in your gut. Keep saying it over and over again, I got this, until you actually believe it's true. Keep saying it. Use positive affirmations. Find a good mantra. Believe in yourself. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. You know, they're the babies. And they still just go. They act. They don't question, they don't sit, they don't overanalyze. They're bold. And yeah, sometimes that comes across as impulsive or reckless, whatever. But they don't miss their opportunities. And if they fail, they learn from it. But Aries people, I mean, just a little bit of dumb confidence sometimes will get you very, very far. And you know what? It's not always the smartest, brightest, most talented, most skilled people who are the most confident. You know, like there are plenty of people in this world. If you've ever watched reality TV, you know this is true. There's plenty of people in this world that don't really have that much talent or that much skill in something, but they have so much confidence. They believe in themselves so much. You need that kind of, you know how we say like have blind faith? You need to apply that to yourself in terms of your self-confidence. I mean, seriously, like just fake it till you make it. Have that fire sign energy confidence. Just do it. Deep, deep down, if you still have your doubts, if you're still afraid inside, that's okay. But again, just go for it. And with this have faith in your dreams, I mean, I feel like that's self-explanatory. Believe in yourself. Believe that you were given this dream because it is your purpose. You were given your dreams and your desires for a reason. Again, not to taunt you, but because you were meant for them. And I think, you know, with this card here, you know, the end of a tough cycle approaches. You probably have had some hard years. You probably have had some really hard years. And so, of course, you have your doubts. Of course, you think, well, this isn't going to work out because what else in my life has worked out? You know, if you've known a lot of disappointment, you will expect your future to also be disappointing. And that's understandable. However, your guides are saying to you now, we're ending this tough cycle. This is not your future. And you know, if you're on the bottom of the wheel of fortune and you feel like your luck has just been terrible, if you've had some really tough, challenging cycles, that just means that you're due for some good luck. You're due for some good fortune. It's time for the wheel to turn. The wheel doesn't stay in one spot forever. That's why gratitude is so important. When things are good, be grateful because they won't stay that way. And that's as good and it's bad. That's life, you know? Our challenges don't last forever, but neither do our blessings, right? Like things change. Life changes. We have to adapt. So we take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. I think you're starting to understand that next year. Or maybe you already get it, but you're just really starting to see how it resonates in your own life. All right, group 3, we have She Who Emerges, Enlightenment, Mindfulness, Rise Up, and we have She Who is Present, Now, Awareness, and Acceptance. This card here, she's the lady that they chose to be on the front of the deck. And I feel like this is indicating that you have some Some main character energy, group 3 in 2024. And remember, we did reference you having like some star power. And maybe that's what makes you nervous. Maybe some aspect of this will involve you being in the public eye to a certain extent, or other people, the people closest to you, knowing about this thing, this choice that you have to make. So even if it's about love, you may be worried, like, if this relationship doesn't work out, is my family going to judge me? Are my friends going to gossip about me? That sucks, right? It could be something like that. You know, it could be on a small scale. For others of you, it could be on a larger scale. You don't want to say, okay, I'm relocating and I'm going after my dream job and all this. If we go back to our previous example, and you're afraid that everyone on social media is going to judge you, or your family's going to judge you if you fall flat on your face and have to come back home, you know, like tail between your legs kind of thing. Or if you get an opportunity to start your own business, or you're doing something involving social media, like starting a YouTube channel. You don't want to fall flat on your face publicly, you know, like you have some kind of fear about that. But I mean, it's time for you to step into your star power, okay? It's time for you to be the main character. Enough of this struggle. It's time to have your moment in the sun. That's what I'm hearing, your moment in the sun. And, you know, with this now, being present card, I feel like Spirit wants you to enjoy the moment, enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. It's a super exciting time for you. You're on the precipice of reaching a really big goal, of getting a really big wish to come true for you. Be excited. Don't let your anxiety and your fear ruin the excitement and the joy and the gratitude. It's okay if you feel how you feel, but just remember the other side of it, the great potential that you have for success. Whatever that looks like to you, you know, everyone's situation is going to be different. And with the She Who Emerges card, enlightenment, rising up, mindfulness, I feel like this is really helping you in your spiritual journey as well. Because you seeing ultimately how this is going to work out for you if you step up and say yes. And remember, you can still say no. You can still stay in your comfort zone. We talked about that 10 of Cups and that 3 of Pentacles being potential energy. So if you stay where you're at, you're not going to have this spiritual up-leveling. But if you go for it, it's really going to affirm your faith. Because if the universe can make this happen for you, what more can Spirit do for you? So you're going to be feeling really, really blessed and really, really grateful. Okay, for your 3 major themes for 2024, we have glamour, trust, and authenticity. Your bottom of the deck was psychic protection. I love this so much for you. All your cards are working really, really well together. All of these themes are related to each other, but I feel like Spirit wanted to give you just some additional reassurance that you are protected, you are being divinely guided. It's okay to trust yourself because you are receiving guidance from the divine. So trust yourself and trust your ability to read the signs. I feel like that's what's so difficult a lot of times when you're a spiritual person and you tend to be an overthinker or a perfectionist or someone who's really critical of themselves. It's like, okay, am I seeing what I want to see right now? Or was that a sign that I should do X? Okay, I think that was a sign, but can you give me another sign so I can make sure that that sign was actually a sign? You can get into a whole thought spiral with the signs, okay? But trust yourself. Trust your intuition, okay? You do have the ability to receive divine guidance. You do have the ability to Interpret the signs to recognize them for what they are. Just don't overthink it, okay? Go with your first initial reaction, okay? Don't think too much about it. It's not a logical thing, it's an intuitive thing. So lean into your intuition. Okay, and with this glamour card, this is all about what we've said over and over again, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. A glamour is not real. It's an illusion. Fake it till you make it. Sorry, a chunk of ice just fell from the ice maker. But with this glamour card, just act confident even if you don't feel that way. And I also feel like, and this is just sort of a side message, but I feel like you're going to be experimenting a little bit for, maybe not for all of you, but I think some of you are going to be experimenting a bit with your style, your aesthetic, the way you do your hair, if you wear makeup, the way you do your makeup. You're just going to be having a little bit more fun with that. It may even be like a stress reliever for you, to play around with your hair and your makeup or your style. Again, that's just a specific side message, not going to resonate for everybody, but it did come through, so I wanted to mention it. And I also feel like with glamour, when you do start to act more confidently, you're going to be more attractive in general because it's just an energy. It's an energy that people are responding to. So when you act confident, even if you don't feel that way, it's still very magnetic. It's still very engaging. And eventually, that glamour will become something that's authentically true to you. So if you keep faking like you're confident, eventually you will genuinely feel confident. And, Spirit is encouraging you throughout 2024 to stay true to who you are. Stay true to your dreams. Stay true to your desires. Don't talk yourself out of your dreams. Sometimes we do that. When we think our dreams are too big, we almost as a way to protect our egos or to comfort ourselves, will say, well, yeah, that would be nice, but it's not really practical. And, if it did happen, I would have to do X, Y, and Z. And, it's nice to dream about, but if I had it in my real life, I don't know. We talk ourselves out of it. We talk ourselves out of it. When really and truly, that's what we're craving and wanting the most. But it's painful to admit that we can want something so desperately and be terrified to go after it, to be so scared. And people do that with love. And they'll say, oh, I never want to get married. I don't want a partner. I'm happy being single. I know some of y'all have at least one friend that who's like that. And I'm not saying everyone wants to get married. There are genuinely people out there who don't want to get married, don't want to be in a relationship, who don't want, any sort of, romantic connection. And that's totally cool. However, I'm just saying as an example, there are definitely people out there, even in love, they teach themselves to want less or to want something different because they're too afraid to admit that what they want the most, they don't have. So they say that they're happy being single, but they complain about being single all the time. They say that they don't ever want to get married, but then they seem pretty jealous, of people who are. Or they make comments about it. It's like, well, you wouldn't be so bothered if you didn't really want that. You wouldn't be so bothered. Things like that. So stay true to your dreams. Don't talk yourself out of your dreams. And with the trust card, you have to have trust in yourself and trust in the divine and trust in the guidance that you're receiving. And we were just talking about trusting yourself to be able to interpret the signs. Because you're receiving, I just hit the book. You are receiving a lot of signs, a lot of divine guidance, almost like an overload of divine guidance in 2024. I mean, you're seeing imagery, you're seeing angel numbers, you're seeing patterns, you're seeing, you know how sometimes even like people say something to you and it's like, that doesn't even seem like something they would say, but it kind of sticks with you. And you're like, was that spirit? Was that the universe? Was that the divine? Was that God speaking through that person? Because it just seems like something odd for them to say to me. But then that advice really resonates with you and sticks with you. I don't know if anyone else has had that experience. I've had it a couple of times, and it's so odd when it happens, but it's really cool. So yes, all your themes here are working really well together. And be gentle with yourself in 2024 because none of this is easy. Having trust, having faith, hardest thing to do. Hardest thing to do. Being authentic to yourself, really difficult, really challenging. Okay, now we'll take a look at your high for the year versus your low. We'll start with your high. Your best moment in 2024 for my group 3s. One card, please, Spirit. Okay, group 3, for your highest moment, your best moment in 2024, we have the Magician card, and I went ahead and I clarified it with the Crystal Unicorn Tarot, and we got the Hierophant and the Page of Pentacles. What I thought was so interesting was that for your lowest moment, your worst moment in 2024, you also got the Hierophant, so it was interesting to see that card repeating, and I'll get into what that means in a second. But then we clarified this with the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands. So, your best moment in 2024 is you realizing that something you manifested, something that you set intention towards, even if you weren't consciously manifesting it, even if this was just something that you had said, wouldn't it be nice if this happened? Wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be great if? Something you daydreamed about. Because when we daydream, we visualize. So sometimes we can unintentionally call stuff into our life. So even if you weren't consciously manifesting it, whatever you were putting your energy towards, it's coming to fruition. And I think because we have the Hierophant repeating here, what you're manifesting is getting you away from a situation where you felt very much controlled. You felt stuck, you felt disempowered, you felt like someone else was preaching at you, telling you what to do all the time, and just keeping you feeling very disempowered. But there's another word that is almost like on the tip of my tongue here. It was almost like a condescending energy. Because with the Hierophant, this is someone kind of pushing, in the context of your reading, this is someone pushing their philosophy, their way of life, what they believe in onto you, and kind of expecting you to fall in line. And you're like, no, I want to go my own way. I don't want this. I don't want this life. I don't want this. And so, I mean, this can be, like I said, a lot of different things. This could be a romantic partner that was super controlling and manipulative and told you how to be and how to think. This could be an overbearing boss who, told you that because they work 80 hours a week, you're supposed to work 80 hours a week. That because they don't have any work-life balance and they don't understand what that means, you shouldn't either. You're like, I don't want that life. This could be a parent, a family member saying, this is what you should do. This is how you should live because this is how I lived. And then projecting their dreams and aspirations onto you and saying you should want the same, even though that path doesn't resonate with you. And so you're manifesting a way out of this dynamic. You're getting out from under this person's thumb, whoever it is. You're getting out from under their thumb and you're being able to go your own way. And so your lowest point is going to have to be the actual process of confronting this person. So you see how your highest moment, your best moment is directly related to your lowest moment? with this Hierophant repeating, you're going to have that difficult conversation. You're going to have to confront them. And you're going to have to be confident. With the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands, you have to have the composure and confidence of the Queen of Wands. The willingness to take action, because the Wands energy is always very action oriented. That's that fire sign energy coming out again in your reading. But at the same time, you almost have to be as blunt and even as impulsive as the Knight of Wands. Sometimes we need to be impulsive. Sometimes we need to go for it. Sometimes we don't need to stop and think. Because sometimes that keeps us stuck. Especially if I've been picking up group 3 that you have a tendency to overthink. Don't get in your head, because that's how you get yourself trapped. That's how you get yourself stuck. Sometimes you just need a moment where you tell someone how it is. You don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to be ugly about it. But just say, this is what it is. This is what I'm doing. You can accept it or not. But I'm not following what you're putting down anymore. And with this Hierophant, it's like a false prophet kind of thing. Like, I'm following my intuition. I'm going to follow guidance from the divine. I'm not going to follow this strict philosophy, belief system, lifestyle, whatever it is, of this other person. Like, you're not my God. My life, my decisions, that's between myself and my God. Whatever that looks like to you. But no. So you're getting out from under this person's thumb. It's going to be really uncomfortable to have this confrontation. And it is going to be a confrontation. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a bit fiery. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be an argument. Because this person, whoever they are, they're not used to people telling them no. They're not used to people asserting themselves. And they're certainly not used to you asserting yourself. They're like, you need to fall back in line. And you're like, no, I'm not doing it. So yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to be so worth it. So you got to get through, this confrontation to get to the good stuff, but you will get through it. Okay, let's go ahead and get the top 3 major events in your life. These events don't necessarily have to be in chronological order. And we're also going to get 3 cards to represent each event. So we'll start with event 1. But mind you, like I said, this isn't necessarily the first event chronologically, okay? It might be, it might not be. Okay, group 3. For your first major event, we have the Lovers, we have the 7 of Pentacles and the 10 of Wands, and your bottom of the deck here is the 10 of Pentacles. I feel like when you are very much focused on your other obligations, your career, your money, your professional life, your day-to-day routine, errands that you're running, just sort of the day-to-day responsibilities that we all have. When you're focused on that and you're sort of just patiently kind of building up your resources, you're working hard, you're super distracted. You're really busy going from one thing to the next. You're trying to get to this 10 of Pentacles. Really trying to get your affairs in order. That's when you're going to kind of stumble upon someone. Your paths are going to cross in some way with the Lovers. Now, for some of you, this is going to be a new romantic partner. For others of you, it's just a soul family member, a really deep friendship that's going to happen. But this is going to be someone who stays in your life for a while. And it's going to be a really big blessing for you. And so don't worry about missing it. But I do feel like it's kind of benefiting you in this situation to be so busy, because you're not waiting for You're not waiting for grass to grow. You know, Seven of Pentacles talks about planting seeds and having to be patient, and kind of the up in the air kind of dynamic with, well, maybe not dynamic, but just nature, I guess, of gardening. You know, you plant a seed, you're not sure if it's going to grow or not, and you just have to wait and wait and wait and see what happens. And so you're not waiting for grass to grow. You're not waiting for these seeds to grow. So the seeds of intention that you sowed here, I really wish I had a partner. I really wish I had more friends. I really wish, so on and so forth. While you're busy with life and you're no longer desperate, you're no longer fixated on it, you're no longer sad about it, that's when it comes in. Okay. Let's get your second event. We have the Seven of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Three of Cups, and your bottom of the deck is the Nine of Cups. Okay. I really feel like this is going back to that energy of you having to make a decision. If you overthink it, you're going to get stuck with that Seven of Cups. It talks about analysis paralysis, being so afraid to make the wrong decision, you make no choice at all. And Five of Wands, there's like this fear of competition, this fear of not being good enough. And we saw that with your Moonology. When you got the Moon and Virgo card, you are good enough. You got that message because obviously there's some part of you that feels like you're not good enough for whatever this is. With the Three of Cups, there could be a lot of self-comparison. And maybe you compare yourself a lot to your friends or the people in your social circle. Or maybe you just don't have supportive people around you and you wish that you did. But there's just this energy of competition, of not feeling good enough, of self-comparison. And with the bottom of the deck being the Nine of Cups, like this is what keeps you from this wish fulfillment. And so I feel like what they're talking about with this event, we're referencing that moment of divine intervention again. That Wheel of Fortune moment again. Because it is so monumental. And it is going to affect the next several years of your life. Whether you choose to take the opportunity or not. And so I feel like Spirit is just expanding upon this and saying, there is no competition. The only person you should be concerned about competing with is yourself. Just try to be better than who you were yesterday and keep it moving. We have Judgment, we have Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Hierophant. So the Wheel of Fortune and the Hierophant are coming out again. And your bottom of the deck here is the Page of Swords. That there is definitely the wheel turning. Like you're gonna feel it. I feel like you're gonna sense when the tide starts to change for you, because it's a big change in your luck, a big change in it. And you're gonna start to feel blessed. And I think if you've had so many challenging cycles before this, it's hard to trust it when good things start to happen to us after a period of things being really difficult and challenging. We can kind of be pessimistic about it. We can worry that we're gonna lose it. We can make ourselves sick with worry. And we can be so afraid that we're gonna mess it up somehow, that we're gonna lose it, that it's gonna be taken from us, that we don't even give ourselves the grace or the permission to enjoy this blessing, to enjoy our good fortune. There's gonna be a moment, like I said, where you sense the tide starts to change for you. This is your good karma coming in. And I think whoever this Hierophant is in your life, and it may be more than one person with this card coming out several times now, whoever this represents, whether it's one person or a group of people, you got to separate yourself. They are feeding that negative inner critic that you have. And they're really trying to force you into a life that's really just not resonating with your soul. It's not right for you. It's never going to be right for you. Just because that's what they think you should do or that's how they live, it doesn't make it right for you. I don't think, and I've said this before in another reading, I can't remember which one, it's not, on the surface, I know we've talked about your self-confidence a lot, but now that we're getting further into your cards, I feel like it's less about that and more about you being around people who make you feel bad about yourself, or one person who makes you feel bad about yourself. It's like your confidence level would just be fine and dandy if you didn't have this narrative around you in your environment that you're not good enough. I feel like you're being told, either directly or indirectly, by this Hierophant energy that you're not good enough. There's someone in your life who is undermining your confidence. And it sucks. It sucks, especially when you love the person, especially when you've been a supportive person to them. I've been through this. My heart goes out to you. I still deal with this energy, to be quite honest with you. I know there's a couple people in my life who do this to me, and it's awful. It's so awful when you sit there and you're building other people up and they're trying to tear you down, especially if it's in a passive-aggressive way. It's like, if you're going to do this, at least be direct about it. At least be blunt about it. At least own the fact that you're being a jerk. Because sometimes it's very passive-aggressive. Sometimes it looks like gaslighting. Sometimes it looks like manipulation. Sometimes it looks like a backhanded compliment. This energy like just makes me feel sick. Because I hate it for you. I hate it for you. Because you don't deserve this, group 3. And I mean, the divine recognizes this, and this is your good karma coming in. You know, this needs to be removed. And unfortunately, like we said before, this person or these people aren't going quietly. It's going to be a confrontation. But it's better to have that conflict and get this out than to continue to deal with it. And with this Page of Swords, it's similar to that Knight of Wands coming out. You're just gonna, I think, have a moment, group 3, to be totally honest with you. You're gonna have a moment in 2024 where you lose your cool. You lose your temper. And other people around you may say that you're overreacting, or that you're being hot-headed. Why are you so angry? But it's carrying the energy of someone who has taken and taken and taken, and they've bit their tongue and they've dealt with it, and they bit their tongue and they dealt with it. But then something is just like, goes just a little bit too far. It's the straw that breaks the camel's back. I can't take it anymore, and you lose your cool. And you tell some people off. With the Page of Swords, Knight of Wands, you tell somebody off. It's a moment of reckoning. And you may feel ashamed. You may feel like that was outside of my character. I don't lose my temper like that. But honestly, it's to your benefit. And it's not in any way indicative of you being a bad person. I feel like Spirit pushed you to this moment because enough was enough. There needed to be a moment of reckoning. There needed to be a moment where you stood up for yourself, you advocated for yourself, and maybe you didn't handle it with as much grace as you wanted to, but it needed to happen. They were well overdue for someone putting them in their place. And it's like, who are you? Who are you? Who are you in this world? It reminds me, y'all, you know I watch reality TV. It reminds me of the early seasons of Married to Medicine. I think it was Mariah who said, like, who are you? Really, in this world, who are you? You're a branch on a tree? You have no significance. Who are you in this world, honestly? Whoever this is, they feel a sense of superiority. They feel like they're better than you. I think that's why I was picking up this energy of condescension. They talk down to you. And of course that's going to affect your self-esteem if someone keeps talking down to you all the time, making you feel stupid, making you feel small, making you feel insecure, making you feel dumb. That's what this is. They think that they're better than everybody else. That's just not the case. There's nothing about you that is less equal than them, except you have some good karma here. And I mean, I think you're a decent person, a good person, especially compared to, you know, this Hierophant energy. When this happens, group 3, really don't beat yourself up about it. I feel like you hold yourself to a certain moral standard and you try to handle things with grace and poise, and you don't like to step out of your character. You don't like people to get you out of your energy. But this moment had to happen, and Spirit pushed it. Because, like I said, something had to give. Something had to give. Sometimes people need to be put in their place. Sometimes you need to stand up for yourself. And again, maybe you didn't do it in the most perfect way, but hey, everyone loses their temper, and it seems like to me from your cards, you were pushed really, really far. And you kept your cool, I think, for too long, and that's why we're having this blow up moment. And you'll learn from this, you will. You know, you'll learn not to push things down. You'll learn to address things as they happen. But I think, you know, for now, it is what it is. Okay, now we'll find out how your future self will sum up your 2024. Okay, we have that feeling when you realize it's the first time you've walked around a sprinkler, so you go back and leap through it. Don't grow up, it's a trap. So I feel like your future self is saying, this is the year where we're really connecting with our inner child. We're really reconnecting with our dreams, what we wanted before we were told who we should be, what we wanted before we were told we needed to be practical, or we needed to think smaller, or we weren't good enough. And you're having more fun with life again. And you're giving yourself permission to look silly, to just be yourself, to be free. And I think it's because you're getting rid of that Hierophant energy in your life that was so negative, that was telling you who you are at your core was somehow wrong, that you should keep yourself small and quiet, that you should be like them instead of being like you. So you're feeling more open, you're feeling more vibrant. This is your year to, I'm hearing live in full color. Whatever that means to you, live in full color. Not watering yourself down, not muting your colors. Being authentically yourself and owning it. And we have that feeling when the plane takes off and all your problems become tiny ants. And this is over top the Wheel of Fortune here. So for some of you, you could really relocate. You could move. You could take a really nice vacation. You could travel in 2024. But there's this feeling of freedom. There's this feeling of, I cut off the dead weight in my life. I got away from that negative, toxic energy that was weighing me down, and I feel free. I feel euphoric. I feel light. I feel like I've been relieved of this burden. Everything I felt like was so challenging, everything that felt so big before, everything that felt like I couldn't overcome it, I couldn't figure it out. Now I realize the only reason why I felt that way was my own self-doubt. And again, that influence of that Hierophant that was feeding that self-doubt. I can solve my problems. I can figure stuff out. I am capable. I am competent. So that confidence, I think it's being brought to the surface. And that feeling when a rainbow appears just when you need the light the most. It's darkest before the dawn. And we had with your Moonology the end of a tough cycle approaches. So, I mean, hey, in 2023, you could have had some really, really low moments. It could have been a tough year for you. Even a tough several years for you. But we're done with that cycle. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, instead that Wheel of Fortune turns in your favor and things get really, really good, really, really fast. It's going to be a roller coaster. It is. But it's going to be such an amazing, exciting, wonderful journey for you. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You are going to laugh and smile again in 2024. And feel free. Okay, let's go ahead and get advice from your guides on how to have the best 2024 you can possibly have. We have happiness. Your thinking will either make your happiness or take your happiness. You choose. Yeah, I mean, this is your year to be optimistic. This is your year to be brave, to be confident. And your perspective will make all the difference. We have mind. You are either the master of your it says you are the master of your inner world, and you decide how the outer world affects you. Cultivate a calm inner state. I feel like that whole Hierophant energy we were getting is teaching you a lot in 2024. It really is. I think that you're starting to learn that the opinions of others and what others say about you really has very little to do with who you actually are. And I think you're going to start to realize that everyone has an opinion. It doesn't matter how successful, how good you are. Someone is still going to be out there judging you, criticizing you. You can be the juiciest peach in the world, and there'll still be someone who doesn't like peaches. Have you guys heard that quote before? I mean, seriously. You can be the best of the best, and there will still be someone out there who has something negative to say. So why let that define you? Who you are, who you know yourself to be, that's a conversation between you and the divine. That's it. The only person, or I should say the only entity you have to answer to is the God of your understanding. And if you're not someone who is, someone who has some sort of spiritual practice or some sort of faith in something bigger than themselves, then I guess you don't answer to anyone but yourself. But I'm assuming since most of you are watching a tarot reading, you do have some kind of spiritual belief. Otherwise, I guess you're having fun, like hanging out here with me, and that's cool too. But yeah, that's it. That's the only entity you have to justify yourself to or answer to or whatever. That's it. It's just a conversation between you and the divine. That's it. And so it's hard. It's super hard for the opinions of other people to not get under your skin. Especially, some people are really good at it. Some people know exactly which buttons to push. And unfortunately, and I can say this from personal experience, but y'all, like my subscribers, my community here on YouTube, y'all have been more supportive, more patient, more understanding. You guys have shown me more love than the people closest to me, quite honestly. I mean, I would say now with the exception of my husband, but otherwise, I'm including friends, everyone. You all have been more supportive and loving and understanding and encouraging than anyone, and happy for me, genuinely happy for me. In my comment section, you all say the nicest, kindest things to me. You really do, and it makes a difference in my life. It does. It's a great side benefit to doing this whole thing. And it's a shame. It's a shame how the people closest to us can sometimes be the very people that hurt us the most, that are the least supportive for whatever reason. So I don't want to invalidate that because I understand it and it's hard. This is a lot easier said than done. But if you can work on it mentally, emotionally, you'll be in a better place in 2024. Because we talked about your fortune changing. We've talked about your luck changing, right? So you may have some jealous people around you. You may have some envious people around you who may try to discredit you, undermine you, or try to keep you in that old cycle. And people are so quick to judge experiences that they have never been through. It's always so easy to say how you would react in a situation or judge someone else's response to something when you've never been through it yourself. Until you've been in it, you really don't know how you would react. You have your best guess, but that's it. And a lot of us are not honest with ourselves. Some people think that they would be stronger than they actually are. And people don't know your circumstances the way that you do. So if they want to judge, let them judge, but they don't know. They don't know your life the way you do. And we have self-worth. This is a really pretty card. Why settle for crumbs when you deserve a whole meal? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's self-explanatory. You're not settling for breadcrumbs in your life anymore. And you're feeling more confident. And I think you are starting to understand that you are good enough and you are deserving of the very best. And you deserve to have your dreams come true. We have be patient, it will come. The sun, manifestation. I can't read what the last word says. Oh, 1111. Okay. So, hey, look out for 1111. And this is the 11th card. Wow. Okay, moving on. It's time to come home. Goddess of the sea, abundance, purification, and ego. And we have you don't need it all figured out. The gifted guide, stars, chaos, and opportunity. Okay, let me just say this. You don't need to have it all figured out. Did I not say that over and over again when we were going over your general overview? I love that synchronicity for you. I love the consistency. Yes, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row. You can feel scared and do it anyway, like we said before. So I love Spirit confirming, yeah, follow that advice. Do it anyway. And this, it's time to come home card, Goddess of the Sea. It's coming home to what lies closest to your heart. Like we said before, connecting with your inner child, connecting with the dreams that have stayed closest to your heart, being open to receiving abundance, knowing you deserve it, allowing yourself to admit to yourself that you want what you want, and stop keeping yourself small. And with this, be patient. It will come in divine timing, and you will get this blessing. You will get this opportunity. And with 1111, you'll be seeing a lot of signs like we said. And we already talked about you manifesting something as your highest, best moment of the year. And I heard when this card came out, the sun will come out tomorrow, bet your bottom dollar, something, something, something. You guys know, like little orphan Annie? She had a horrible life, right? And then things got really, really good for her overnight. That's what it feels like. It feels like a massive shift in your luck, in your fortune. The sun will come out tomorrow. And we got that before, right? Where it said a rainbow appears just when you need the light the most. Darkest before the dawn. I love the synchronicity. The synchronous messages that we're getting here. We'll get a Spirit Cats card for you all. And that's way too many. Sorry, I'm like kind of deep breathing like through some of these cramps. So I apologize if y'all can hear that. It's definitely helping me though to film. Whoops, of course they dropped on the floor. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, let's read your first Spirit Cat card. We have Threshold. Meet Sage. She is the queen of the threshold. In or out, out or in. She lingers right at the borderland between worlds. Glancing back, she takes stock of everything she has cherished, everything that has challenged and interested her, and everything that has weighed her down and limited her. She peeks her nose through the door and smells the fresh air of possibility. With a swirl of acceleration, I can't hardly pronounce that. Whatever, we'll skip over it. Exhilaration, there, I did it. And a hint of fear. See, the fear, y'all, the fear. Perhaps she even tiptoes through a few times only to return to her old world for a while. Find peace at the threshold, but don't surrender to the turn back now gargoyles that guard the gateway. When you are ready, you will stride boldly into your new world. That's the Chariot card we got in the very beginning. Which way do I go? And I think if it were up to you, Group 3, quite honestly, with your energy at the start of your reading, you would set up camp. You would make a home at that threshold. You would just stay there for a while. Because I think there's comfort in possibility. There's comfort in that. But when we make a decision and we start to take action towards something, all of a sudden it's real and it's scary. And if it doesn't work out, I don't even have the dream anymore. I don't even have the fantasy anymore. And that keeps you stuck. Because at least at the threshold, you still have the fantasy. You still have the potential. You haven't failed yet. But you haven't succeeded yet either. Okay, we have Balance. Meet Vero Tiptoe Sky. She can balance perfectly with an inner precision and assurance. She leans one way and then the other, constantly adjusting and learning where her center lies. She understands the dichotomies, work and play, togetherness and solitude, inner reflection and outward expression, striving and letting go, accepting and changing, freedom and discipline, reason and intuition, spiritual expansion and grounding. They go on and on. Let Vero help you see what areas of your life are out of balance and what shifts you can make to return to a graceful equilibrium. I feel like this is what you want. You want balance in your life. And I feel like that Hierophant energy, that person or people in your life, they don't get this. I feel like this is your life philosophy. This is what you want. You deserve balance. You do. You're not crazy for wanting this group 3. You're not. This is your validation right here from the divine. You are not crazy for wanting this. You should aspire to this. This is healthy. Okay, now we'll end your reading with some wild card messages. Group 3. We have Star, guaranteed success. Oh man, they are really trying to give you every little bit of support that they can. I remember how I said in the very beginning with that 3 of Pentacles, and I think it was the 10 of Cups that you had, that being potential energy. But if you were to make a decision and go after that wish fulfillment with the 9 of Cups, it would be guaranteed. There you go. There you go. Confirmation right there. Okay, now we have hills, obstacles to overcome. So yeah, I mean, I feel like the biggest obstacle for you is going to be getting away from that Hierophant person or that energy in your life if it's a group of people. Not letting that hold you back. Getting over your fear, your self-doubt, doing some inner work. I feel like, you know, your own mindset is almost like your biggest obstacle here. We have Whale, great worry over nothing. Yeah, I mean, you could totally psych yourself out. Getting worried, getting all worked up for things that aren't even going to happen. Imagining the worst case scenario when you should be imagining the best case scenario. Talking yourself out of your blessing. We have Skull, hidden secrets can harm you. Hidden secrets can harm you. I think that if you keep biting your tongue and you don't stand up for yourself and you keep repressing those feelings, that's going to damage your mental and emotional well-being. If you avoid conflict with others over and over again, you start a war within yourself. And I do think there are some, like I said, some envious people around you. People that don't really know how to be happy for someone else. Horseshoe, good luck. Yeah, we've talked about this over and over again with the Wheel of Fortune. Your luck is changing in 2024 for the better. We have Rooster, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. That's that Hierophant that thinks that they're better than everybody else. They're trying to intimidate you. Don't let them. We have Archway, new opportunities, possibilities, and paths are opening up. Yeah, I feel like you have this one wish fulfillment. You become more confident in your ability to manifest, work with the divine, co-create. You have this spiritual up-leveling, so it's like, okay, I manifested this. What more can I manifest? So you really start to feel more empowered, and you start to feel closer to spirit. Hold on, this card flew way out. Is this not perfect? Goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. For you, it's both, because we've talked about both over and over again. Increase in material wealth and spiritual growth. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with Superthanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Hey everyone, so before we get started, I just want to go over very quickly the format for today's reading. So we're going to start off with just a general overview with your tarot and a couple of oracle decks. Then we'll get into your highest point in 2024, so the best moment in 2024 for you, and then we'll also get your lowest moment for 2024. Then we will get the top 3 major events happening in your life. We will also get the major themes. So we'll get the top 3 major themes in your life next year. We will also find out how your future self would sum up the year. So how would your future self describe what 2024 is going to be like for you? Then we will get advice from your guides on how you can have the best year possible next year. And then we will wrap up your reading with some wildcard messages using the tea leaf cards. And I have a lot more. I mean, there's so many tea leaf cards, like so many. Okay, so we'll do that. And then I did just want to say, so most of you I think are aware, I'm in my second trimester of pregnancy, and second trimester for the most part has been better, but today I'm having so many stomach cramps. I looked it up. I think it's just round ligament pain, especially with where I'm having the cramps and what they feel like, but I got my heating pad and I think I'm going to be okay. I just wanted to let you all know in case I seem, I don't know, off, or I don't know if I sound different in this reading in any sort of way. It's just because I'm having these stomach cramps. I do think it's going to help me to film, to get my mind off of, you know, how it's hurting, because just like sitting in bed, it's not enough of a distraction. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys know in case I sound a little bit off. And I almost forgot, I'm going to be uploading a separate love prediction for 2024. So if love messages come up, we'll touch on it, but we're not going to get specific. I'm going to upload a reading for singles and then upload a separate reading for people who are in a committed relationship, okay, for couples. So there's going to be 2 separate 2024 love predictions being posted, and I'll make a community post letting you guys know the dates for that as well. And let me see. Oh, I'm not going to do any specific career messages in this reading. If stuff comes up, we'll definitely talk about it. But I just did a reading on the next chapter in your career, so it felt redundant to do a bunch of career messages in this one. So if you're wanting some more information about your career, your professional life, your finances, definitely go check out that reading, and I'll try to make sure that I remember to put it in the description box for you all. Okay, let's get started. All right, group 4, let's go ahead and start with your general overview. A big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages, and we will take all uprights today. All right, group 4, we have the King of Compacts, which is the King of Pentacles in this deck. We have the 9 of Wands, the 9 of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, and then your bottom of the deck is the World card. I'll be honest, group 4, this feels like a year where you are very much focused on your material wealth, your finances, your personal goals, your professional life. That's where your focus is. That's where you're putting all of your energy and effort into. You are very much focused on that, and your emotions, your feelings are kind of on the back burner. Even when it comes to like your self-care a bit, even your own just personal health, it's like I'm pushing through. I'm giving it my all. I'm working so hard because I have this vision with the World card. I know what I want and I'm going to get it. So if I have to feel a bit overworked for a while, so be it. I mean, that's your attitude. Like, you are super ambitious in 2024. You are so hardworking. You are getting your teeth in it. You are going full throttle. And I mean, you could be a Capricorn, Virgus, or Virgus. Oh man, y'all. Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. Or you could have a lot of earth sign placements in your birth chart, but you don't have to. I just feel like that's the energy that you're in. You're very much focused on earthly matters. You know, you're focused on your material wealth, your long-term financial security. That's it. You know, and personal feelings, love, social life, all of that can be put on the back burner because I have a vision and I'm going after it. Now, I'm going to be uploading a separate love reading, so definitely check that out. But from your tarot and what I can see so far, this is what you're coming into 2024. And this is your energy. This is what your intentions are, what you're focused on. You're about the money. Money, abundance, security. You know, I mean, maybe you're starting a business, and I mean, that just requires a lot of time, a lot of effort. There's just this feeling of like, I gotta give this my all. I gotta get things together. I don't have time. When I say spirit is funny, spirit is so funny sometimes. Okay, we have a new start is coming, new moon. Then we have expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. Then we have emotions are running high, super moon, coming over top that Page of Cups where I said you're putting your feelings, your emotions, your social life, love life, whatever on the back burner. It's like, you may think you're putting your emotions on the back burner, but guess what? Some things are going to happen in your life that bring your emotions to the forefront with emotions are running high. So I'm curious to see what this powerful change, this new start is. I want to see if we can get a little bit more clarity on this. But it may be a hush-hush kind of situation. But let's see. What is this new start? What is this powerful change? In group 4's life, please, Spirit. And emotions running high doesn't have to be a negative thing. It just means they're very intense feelings. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords, the Moon, the Fool, and to clarify the Eight of Swords, we have the Sun card. How did I know? With the Moon card coming out, this powerful change coming out, the Moon card coming out and being on top of this powerful change card, I knew it was going to be hush hush. I just had a feeling about it. So there's some aspect of this powerful change that you're not ready to hear about it, and maybe it's meant to be a surprise, but you're not meant to know something about it. Spirit is just saying, have faith, trust us in this situation. But with the Eight of Swords clarified by the Sun, you're getting the help that you need. So if there's anything where you have felt stuck, a situation, a problem in your life that you don't know how to work out, some aspect where you just felt like, I don't know what to do about this. I don't feel like I have any options. I can't see a way out. I feel like I don't have a choice in the matter. You're getting the help that you need. A powerful change is coming. And with the Sun, and the Moon here, it's bringing you out of the darkness and into the light. So it's a happy change. It is a happy change. And with the Fool card, again, it's a new start. And remember how I said to you all before I pulled your tarot, just because the emotions are running high doesn't mean that they're negative. They're just intense. And then you have the Fool card coming out on top of it. The Fool is so happy-go-lucky. In the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, they're leaping off of a cliff. And they don't know, they're not even paying attention to the ground beneath them. They're so happy. So for you all, this change, it brings about a sense of euphoria. A sense of like dumb, full-hearted kind of optimism in the best possible way. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see how this plays out. And it may be different for all of you, and maybe that's why we got the Moon. But it is going to be a positive change, and it's going to make you, I'm hearing, stupidly happy. Stupidly happy. It's like the energy of someone who just won the lottery. You know, it's like, I'm so happy I can't even speak. You know, like I can't even form a coherent sentence. I'm so happy. Like my emotions are flooding me right now. I can't even talk. That's the energy. Or, you know, the Fool card can usually talk about new love too. New love can kind of make you dumb because you're distracted. You're so distracted. And you're just so happy and you're on cloud 9. But your mind is somewhere else, right? You're thinking about that person and your connection. And you're dreaming about the future, right? And so you're distracted. Your cards are so funny to me today. I don't know, group 4, maybe you have just a really funny spiritual team. Maybe your guides like to kind of mess around or be playful with you a bit. I don't know, I guess it's kind of odd to say your spirit guides have a good sense of humor, but that's what it feels like. But anyway, it's she who waits and she who sees. It's a wait and see. Like, wait and see. We have something really big planned for you. Wait and see. That's the message that I'm getting from this. But I also feel like there's a recognition here. You know, like you have really, you've really been determined to make your life better. And as much as you've been determined, you've also have felt stuck in some ways. And it's like, I want to fix things. I don't want to feel stuck. I don't want to be in this Eight of Swords, but I don't know how. I genuinely don't know how to make it better. You know, like y'all are go-getters. You don't just sit around and accept the status quo and complain and wallow. Like you do try to make things better, but you don't always know how to do it. But I think you're very perceptive and you're very strategic and you do your best. And sometimes you just need a little bit of help from spirit, and I think you're getting it. Really. Just wait and see. That's the message. Wait and see. Wait and see how we surprise you. Wait and see how different this year is from what you were expecting it to be. Okay, now we'll get the top 3 major themes of your life in 2024. We have strength, knowledge, and wisdom here. It's making me think of, there's this saying that sometimes God doesn't fix the situation for you because the situation is meant to fix you. And I know fix kind of implies that you're broken in some way, but I think the sentiment behind that saying is that if you're asking or praying for a way out of something and you're not receiving help immediately, maybe that uncomfortable, undesirable situation in your life is actually God's will, or the divine, the universe, whatever terminology you use, is actually God's will, trying to help you heal something, trying to teach you a lesson. So you're not immediately relieved of whatever the situation is. Because we all go through challenges, right? And that's part of life. That's part of growing. Sometimes we learn through pain, and sometimes we learn through love and joy. And so I think with that 8 of Swords, whatever you were meant to learn from that, you have. And so it's like, okay, you've learned the lesson. Now let's bring in the help. So you're being relieved of that situation. Like it has served its purpose. So we can take it away now. But with strength, knowledge, and wisdom, I feel like over and over again in 2024, you're gonna be just really surprising yourself. It's really beautiful energy. Like over and over again, I'm gonna realize how resilient I am. I'm gonna realize how strong I am. I'm gonna realize how smart and wise I am. And all of this is coming from those past experiences. So I'm not saying in 2024, you're gonna encounter challenge after challenge after challenge that teaches you how strong, wise, and smart you are and clever. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you are applying everything you've learned from those difficult past experiences, because you've been through it. You have, group 4, and applying it to your life in 2024. And that is helping you so much. And you're starting to kind of see the purpose behind all of it. Like, oh, okay. Because I think the blessings and good things happening in your life, your past self would not really be able to handle very well. What is coming into your life and those big changes that are happening in your life in 2024, that fresh start, the old you would not have been ready to receive those changes, those blessings. You had to be prepared for this. Old you would not have been capable. And so I think it's a year where you start to have this appreciation for your past and everything that you've been through. And I think you're going to feel really, really proud of the person that you have grown into. I think you're going to be really grateful to your past self for going through what they went through and for learning what they learned. So it's really a process of self-love, because I'm now loving and appreciating and recognizing that all of that pain and hardship that I went through served this beautiful purpose of making me into who I am today. And who I am today is pretty awesome, pretty amazing. Because you're starting to appreciate all these positive qualities about yourself with strength, knowledge, and wisdom. These are your qualities, your positive qualities. And you earned these. You worked for these. Okay, now we'll get your high and your low for 2024. We'll start with your high. So your best moment in 2024, group 4, your best moment. We have Temperance here. And your lowest moment. We have the Hermit. Okay. I do want to clarify this Temperance card. We have Strength. There's actually a couple of different things with this best moment with Temperance and Strength. There's going to be a moment in time where you're tempted. You're really, really tempted to fall back into an old habit. And this could be in the form of a person, like someone that you know isn't good for you, who reaches out and wants to, reconnect, whatever. This could be you quit something, you stop doing something that was really unhealthy, but you have a moment where you feel tempted to go back to it. This could be a substance, an unhealthy lifestyle habit. You feel really, really tempted to fall back into your old ways. But you don't. You say no. Because I think you really have come to appreciate the balance that you have in your life. For some of you, this could be talking about you being a workaholic and you feeling tempted to say yes to too much. But I feel like it's just a moment of you being so proud of yourself for being strong enough to say no. Even if it's saying no to yourself, but saying no. We're not falling back into this old habit, this old routine, this old relationship dynamic. We're not doing it. So you're just so incredibly proud of yourself for staying in balance with this new version of yourself and not sliding back into old ways. Now with this Hermit card here, there could be a moment where you start to feel really lonely. You could go through a breakup. You could have a certain connection in your life end. A friendship that falls apart. You lose contact with someone. You're separated from, maybe a certain circle of people you used to hang out with. Like maybe you start a new job and you miss your old coworkers. There's just this feeling of feeling lonely, of feeling isolated. Maybe comparing yourself to other people, especially on social media and things like that. Just feeling lonely, feeling sad. Maybe a moment of nostalgia where you really miss somebody, even if you know they weren't really that good for you. It's going to be different for everyone. But I also think that with this Hermit card here, this could be showing you that's why the balance is so important. We can't neglect our emotional needs. Those have to be met too. That's just as important as our physical needs. Okay, let's find out how your future self will sum up your 2024. How would your future self describe your 2024? Group 4. Okay, group 4, your future self had a lot to say about your 2024. These two cards at the end came out twice, so I was like, okay, I gotta take them. So I didn't take them initially because too many cards came out at the same time. But when they came out a second time, I was like, okay, I was meant to pull those. But anyway, we have that feeling when you peer over the edge and you see yourself falling. I mean, some of you really might be falling in love in 2024. I mean, check out the love prediction, y'all, especially if you're single. Check it out. But I also feel like this is leaping into the unknown. That's that full card energy coming out. Literally, like, you know, that feeling of just falling off of a cliff, having faith, that blind optimism. That's that card. And we also have that feeling when you discover a soul perfectly the same and perfectly different in every way. So good news. That Hermit card energy isn't going to last. That feeling of loneliness is not going to last. You will meet a romantic partner, or meet a soul family member, or start, you know, find a new best friend. You will have that. And especially these two cards next to each other, I love that. Especially if you're hoping for new love in 2024, I love that. And we have that feeling when you reclaim your power. Yeah, you're really appreciating and just loving yourself, I think, more than you ever have in 2024. Really appreciating how far you've come. Giving yourself credit, feeling proud of yourself. We already said your best moment in 2024 is a moment where you feel so proud of yourself. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, group 4. And we have that feeling when you're so joyous that time slows and you leave your body to take a mental picture of the moment. And then next to it, we have that feeling when the flowers and trees are so alive and you wonder if you've stepped through a portal. This is that surreal moment. Remember your Moonology cards in the very beginning, and it talked about a powerful change, a new start, emotions are running high, and we said it was like someone winning the lottery, like feeling so like stupidly happy that you can't even talk. You're gonna have a moment in 2024. Your future self is saying it's gonna feel surreal. It's not gonna feel real. You're gonna feel so happy that it doesn't even feel real. It doesn't even feel like this is happening to me. Like, this feels like fantasy. This is real. This is actually happening. It's like I could pinch myself. Am I dreaming? Is this for real, for real? That's how happy you are. So yeah, there's going to be some lows with the Hermit where you're feeling really sad. And listen, the Hermit's not in and of itself a negative card, but if we're talking about your lowest moment, and especially the way it's depicted here, it's loneliness. It's loneliness and self-isolation. But it's not going to last. It is going to get better. And I just love that you have this card as well about connecting with someone. And it carries the energy of a soulmate, whether it's romantic or platonic. I love that for you. All right, let's get your advice from your guides on how you can have the best 2024. And then we will get your wild card messages. Okay, we have love. Love people, love them with all your heart. Just be sure to love yourself first. It's just so cute to me that we talked about you starting off this year, putting emotions on the back burner, focused on yourself, focused on your goals. I bet you had some New Year's resolutions. You were all geared up to go. And then the divine was like, oh, no. This is going to be an emotional year for you, buddy. Like, a nice try, trying to put your feelings on the back burner. Nice try. It's going to be an emotional year for you. And yeah, with the Hermit card that we got, sometimes it's going to be tough, but it's also going to be crazy good. So, this really could be the year for romantic unions, for soul family, for lasting friendships. It's going to be a year where your interpersonal connections really matter. We have security. True security comes from having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. Make deposits in all of these accounts and you'll be a wealthy person indeed. Spirit's calling you out a little bit. They're saying security is more than just money and material wealth. Not saying that's not important. It is, especially in our society. Money matters. It does. But these other things are equally as important. So do your best to have some balance. And we have focus. I just love the little orange kitty cat. It's so cute. If you focus on what you don't want, there's a good chance you might get it. Focus on what you do want instead. When you focus on the good gets better. Simple as that. We have the witch. I wasn't always like this, you know. I had to create who I am. I don't know what this word is. Creatrix? Lotus flower and free will. I love this for you all though, because this really talks about, remember when we got your major themes? It was strength, knowledge, and wisdom. And we were talking about how those represented positive qualities that you were starting to recognize within yourself. And you earned those qualities through difficult past experiences. And I was saying it wasn't that 2024 was challenging you to awaken to those qualities. It was showing you that you already possess them through past challenges that you've been through. So Spirit is confirming to you to appreciate and recognize this. Be proud of yourself, because like a lotus flower, you had to grow through the mud. You have grown through challenges. You've grown through difficult circumstances already. You earned the person that you are today. You earned it. So be proud of who you are. You worked so hard to become this version of yourself. And we have, sometimes you will break before you bloom. Breaking into bloom, time, liberation, and understanding. I mean, this is it. I feel like these two cards are working together here, like the lotus flower. That's your story. You know, the flower that grows through concrete, grows through the mud, grows despite adversity. You've done that. Appreciate and recognize your own self-development. Be proud of yourself. We have, you can let go now, surrender to what is. Acceptance, letting go, water, non-resistance. They want you to be open to that change. They really do. They don't want you to resist it. They want you to go with the flow. And I think that's kind of hard for you, because you are so ambitious. You are such a go-getter. You're a problem solver. And I think you've been fighting for so long. That's all you know. You know, it's like, I've been fighting for my life for so long. I've been fighting to become this version of myself. And you're telling me now I can just let go and be and just go with the flow of life? I don't know how to do that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tricky. You're not, it's like, you're the type of person, group 4. It's like you've been so overworked fighting the good fight for so long that you're told to take a vacation and you like don't know how to sit still. You don't know how to relax because you're so used to doing things. And so it's like in 2024, you're going in with this mindset of like, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do this, this, then that. My social life, my emotions, my health, my self-care, all that's going to be put on the back burner because I got these goals. I got stuff I want to do. And Spirit has other plans for you. It's meant to be an easier year. And it's funny because most people would be happy to hear that. But for you, it's like, that's a challenge. I don't know how to work with that. Like, I don't know how to deal with that. I'm used to fighting. I'm used to struggling. And now you're telling me just to relax, to let go, to trust? What? I mean, you don't know how to function that way. You haven't had to function that way. I mean, I couldn't tell you when. It's been a long time. You've been fighting a long time. But you need this break. You need some positive changes in your life. You need a break. Okay, now we'll look at your Spirit Cat cards. We have Vision. Meet Stargazer. Some say her head is in the clouds, but the view is better from up there. She can see the big picture beyond our normal sight. She can see beyond small increments of time to the vastness of years, decades, and even eternity. Take a step back and see your life through Stargazer's eyes. What visions do you have for your life? They might appear fuzzy or absent if you are afraid of the actions they are calling you to take. Acknowledge those fears, then ask them to step aside like parting clouds until you are able to truly see. Let your visions be a beacon calling you forth. I think you're starting off 2024 with a certain vision in your head. But as we talked about before, with all of that earth sign energy we had in the beginning, you were so focused on the earthly realm. And the divine is calling you to get your head in the clouds, to be less practical, to dream a bit bigger, to ask for more. Take a higher perspective. We have Majesty. Meet Majesty. She lives inside each one of us. She is the queen of the vulnerable heart, the yearning soul, and the seeking mind. She helps us see our majesty, helps us to honor our gifts, hone our skills, and be true to our word. Let us not diminish ourselves with endless self-criticism and self-negation. We must wear our crown of light and love with confidence, grace, and a generosity of spirit. We all have something to teach and share with our fellows. Cultivate kindness and respect towards yourself so that your gifts may flourish and be shared freely with those around you. This is all about, again, seeing your value, being proud of yourself, and understanding that other people could really benefit and learn from your story. You are an inspirational person, whether you realize it or not. Okay, now we'll go ahead and get your wild card messages for 2024, Group 4. We'll just get as many as I feel called to take. We have Broom, new home, new attitude. So some of you could be moving, or you could just be redecorating your home, reorganizing your home. Moving around your furniture, changing up your space. We have 4-leaf clover, great good fortune. That's that powerful change in your life that was going to give you that surreal moment of happiness. That's what that's talking about. We have V, victory in some endeavor. Look at you. You're getting some positive cards here. Love that for you. We have Candle, you will be shown the way. So have faith, have trust, especially when that big change happens. Even if it's a positive change, that can still be scary. Change requires us to make adjustments. So just have faith, trust that you are being divinely guided. We have Mule. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. I hope that's not you, Group 4. I hope that you are open to this change, because I feel like they've really been encouraging you to be open to the change. So I hope that's not talking about you. This could be someone else in your life, though, that's trying to keep you in your old life prior to whatever this big change is that we saw with your Moonology cards. I mean, don't let it hold you back if it's somebody else. Don't hold yourself back, though, if it's you. We have the Wealth card. And remember, wealth beyond just the material, although that's great and awesome, but also wealth in terms of love and people and security and emotional fulfillment and spiritual connection, right? Remember, let me see if I can pull it out without it being remember the security card that you got? Where it says having a reserve of time, space, energy, personal power, and love. This is true wealth, having time for yourself, having space in your life, for, you know, the things that you do enjoy, the people that you love. Having enough energy to enjoy yourself, not feeling depleted or burned out. Feeling like you have personal power, you have control over your life to some extent, right? Having love in your life. Having freedom. We have Scissors, disappointment in some affair. I kind of feel like with this Mule, maybe you're having to cut somebody off from your past who isn't, you know, supportive of this change, who's trying to hold you back. And you know, you could have some kind of disappointment prior to that big change happening because Spirit is trying to direct you on a certain path. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Oops, we've got 2 more cards, but one fell on the floor. Give me 1 second. We have Dragon. Be aware of self-delusion. Maybe you're the stubborn one. Maybe that's you cutting out some of those bad habits, not falling back into old ways. Be aware of self-delusion. I feel like some of you guys can just overwork yourself so much. Push yourselves, so hard. And you tell yourself that you're okay when you're not. Like we got before, like you don't know how to rest. Or you feel guilty if you're not always productive. And you may say that you know self-care is important, that rest is important, but you're not really doing it. Or that connections with others are important, but you're not making time for it. I think that, you know, there may be some bad habits. Maybe for some of you it's being a workaholic, but you kind of need to address that. Okay? So apply it how it resonates, because it could be talking about many different things. And then we have bird flying. News is on the way. So some important communication could be happening. So someone reaching out to you, a call, an email, some sort of important news. Could even be someone calling you with like some test results, some answer you were waiting for. And it could be related to that big change. So maybe you were waiting to hear back if you got a job. Just some sort of important communication. This could be a million different things. That's why it's a wild card message, right? All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with Superthanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading.